vessels that the Coast Guard had gone out to potentially attempt a search and rescue on, but ultimately abandoned that. So we know this week, certainly, there have been those incremental developments when it comes to this ultimate decision that the president took overnight. But I think it's really important to point out, Peter, some insight that we got from the White House Chief of Staff, Susie Wiles, in that Vanity Fair interview, which was published just in mid-December, where she said that the ultimate goal here of the president was to continue bombing and hitting these alleged drug boats until, quote, Maduro cries uncle. That was her phrasing. And we saw the president, again, speak to this openly, speak to this publicly. But for months, the posture of the Trump administration and the White House was that this was not about regime change per se, was that this was about this so-called war on drugs and on narco terrorists. So this is an incredibly significant development in all of this. And in terms of conversations, Peter, we know that President Trump says he spoke with Nicolas Maduro. He says about a week ago, and we know from earlier reporting and conversations that they had spoken sometime before that. So a really important detail there, the fact that it seems from Nicolas Maduro's own words just a few days ago, he had signaled a willingness and openness in some of his communications to engaging with the United States. But the president said earlier today on Fox News, essentially, that he argued that Maduro wanted to perhaps make a deal and that he ultimately told him, nope, we are not going to be able to do that kind of negotiating at the end. He said, essentially, this could have been a very foolish thing if it didn't work out. And ultimately, he said, the president of his conversations with Maduro, nope, we can't do it. What he did with drugs is bad. So I think, Peter, you have set the table perfectly in referencing, and some of our other colleagues have, the president's comments as candidate Donald Trump. It will be fascinating to see how they stack up against what he says today about these foreign involvements, further foreign entanglements in a moment where his own supporters, and some of them who have been most outspoken and certainly broken with him in recent weeks and months, have argued that the president should stick to his more America first policy instead of getting involved overseas in these continued conflicts. And we saw just over the course of the last couple of weeks examples of that, not just here in Venezuela and South America, but across the world, overseas in the Middle East and beyond. Peter.
A variety of good points there, Monica. I would just punctuate it with another from the president earlier to Fox News today, saying that the U.S. would be, in his words, very involved in the future of Venezuela's oil industry. As we've been reporting here, obviously, the president had ramped up his pressure campaign in recent weeks, focusing on sanctioned oil tankers there, the first one of which was seized by U.S. forces, brought back to Texas, where the president said it was his presumption that the U.S. would in effect seize that oil as well. The president also made note of the fact that others, including China, will still have access. He said, we're going to allow people to have oil. I bring up the topic of China, as we'll be keeping eyes on as well, because notably a special envoy from China was in Caracas meeting with Nicolas Maduro.
Donald Trump ahora conocerá a los venezolanos de verdad, a los que somos cueros secos, a los que si nos pisan por un lado, nos levantamos por el otro. Va a conocer a la clase obrera venezolana, porque no hay una fábrica en este país que pueda ser gobernada por un oligarca. Aquí no va a haber, como decía Nancy Rodríguez, una molécula de petróleo que vaya a ser regalada a los yanquis. Le voy a decir algo. La industria petrolera venezolana conoció una dirigencia que empeñó nuestro país. Pero hoy PDVSA, que no es de las élites, sino del pueblo, le pertenece a la clase obrera y a los venezolanos. Así que, gringo pelucón, desde aquí, desde esta Caracas, te decimos, prepárate, porque los venezolanos tenemos 27 semanas de adiestramiento militar y 25 años de revolución para hacer tu Vietnam latinoamericano. Maduro lo dijo en la salutación a la Fuerza Armada Nacional Bolivariana. Hay una consigna que dice, de inmediato viene a tu cerebro cuando escucha, leales siempre, traidores nunca. Trump, escucha bien, este pueblo dice, leales siempre, traidores nunca. Venceremos. Gracias, hermano, la juventud bolivariana. Compatriotas, tu nombre y tu mensaje para toda Venezuela. Muy buenos días, compatriotas. Mi nombre es José Briceño. Soy miembro de la Sociedad Bolivariana.
Child, good morning. Child, good morning. Lord help your people. I did not know this is what we was going to wake up to. What is today? January the 3rd. Lord help your people. What is going on? What is going on? Does this mean we're at war, child? What is going on? I'm like trying to figure out what's going on. I just got in the house, y'all. That's why I'm a minute late, okay? Totally different story, which AirPods need charging? Okay. Totally different than what we're supposed to be looking at, okay? But I don't know what they're saying. Anybody know what they're saying? I'm sure. Allegedly, they're happy. So it seems like Trump went into Venezuela, which I know people have been talking about, and took the president and his wife. Are they considered the president? Took the president and his wife. They out of there. You know where they at? I don't know. And I don't know if anybody knows where they at. Because of DRUGS, if I'm not mistaken. Is this what we're supposed to be? Was this on the bingo card? Child, it's only January the 3rd. This is half damn crazy. Trump is going to be speaking soon. It's supposed to be speaking at 11. So I am trying to see if he will speak and we can cover that. Let me go back over to this mess right here. See what they're talking.
An NBC News special report begins right now.
This is an NBC News special report. Here's Tom Llamas.
And good morning. We are coming on the air right now with breaking news. President Trump is set to speak at any moment now about today's large-scale U.S. strike against Venezuela. It's been about 9 hours since multiple explosions rattled Venezuela's capital of Caracas. Since then, President Trump said the U.S. captured that country's leader, Nicolás Maduro, along with his wife, with both of them flown out of the country. And the Trump administration officials saying they will face criminal charges here in the U.S. It comes after months of pressure on Venezuela, including a huge military presence that's been building in the Caribbean. The interception of 2 Venezuelan oil tankers, you'll remember, and strikes, multiple of them, that have killed dozens of people on boats accused of drug running. The president also saying today that in the final days before this strike, Maduro wanted to negotiate, but he, President Trump, was done negotiating. At any moment at Mar-a-Lago, we're expecting the president to walk out and to take the podium. We will carry those remarks live. For now, as we wait, I want to go to our senior national security correspondent, Courtney Cubey, to walk us through the attack and the eventual capture.
Child, he on vacation and he's sitting up here making war happen or whatever. So they was running DRUGS. Is that what's going on? I've heard a little bit about Venezuela, but I'm not like up on it. I know you shouldn't be messing with the Caribbean, though. You know, I don't like that. I don't like that.
Of Nicolás Maduro. Courtney, this attack happened under the darkness of night. We understand this was supposed to take place a few days beforehand, but because of the weather, they decided to delay it day by day, and then they decided to strike early this morning. Walk our viewers through what happened.
Yeah, but notably, one point on the weather time that I've been struck by is the fact that there was actually a pretty full moon last night, which generally special operators like this don't want. They want as much darkness as possible that does not include a full moon. But you're right. Officials telling us that, in fact, the president actually authorized this action days ago, more than a week ago, and that has now been essentially an hour-by-hour wait to see when the final go-ahead would happen. We now know, as you mentioned, that it started overnight last night, now about 9 hours ago, these first explosions. We don't have a whole lot of detail about exactly what the U.S. military component was here. The president, in first announcing this on Truth Social, called these U.S. strikes, not airstrikes. A couple of the assets that we know the U.S. has in the region include U.S. Navy ships that have the ability to fire Tomahawks or T-LAMs. Those are missiles that can fire and strike in a very precise location and give the military standoff capability. Essentially, that means that they can fire them from far enough back that those that are doing the firing, the ship itself, is not necessarily in danger should wherever they're trying to strike try to counter-strike against them. But the social media videos that we have been seeing do appear to...
All right, child, let me go over here. I'm trying to figure out what's going on. This is like off the cuff, off the fly. This is not what I was supposed to be doing this morning, child, but we got to do what we got to do. We switching up. Okay, so let me go over to the, this is ABC. Wait. Let me first acknowledge Amex, boo, because I'm sure if you're not talking about it, you will be. Thank you, hun. She said, hey, y'all, happy Saturday, child. Happy January the 3rd, War Saturday, allegedly. This says latest on U.S. strike on Venezuela, reactions from Venezuelans.
The United States launching an extraordinary nighttime attack on Venezuela. Dramatic video capturing the U.S. strikes overnight. Explosions ringing out in Venezuela's capital city beginning just before 2 a.m. local time. The night sky above Caracas turning bright orange, massive flames engulfing the air. Those giant plumes of smoke seen from miles away. President Trump confirming the strikes and announcing the United States has captured Venezuelan President Nicolás Maduro. Trump writing online, the United States of America has successfully carried out a large-scale strike against Venezuela and its leader, President Nicolás Maduro, who has been, along with his wife, captured and flown out of the country. This operation was done in conjunction with U.S. law enforcement.
Why are they taking the wife? What'd she do? I guess she was there, child.
Venezuela's defense minister, speaking from an unknown place, calling it the most criminal military aggression from the U.S. in the history of our country. The massive escalation coming.
Oh, they said this is criminal. Is it criminal? Somebody, I think I heard say that this is unauthorized. Do y'all know? I don't know. I'm getting up to speed, child. Is it unauthorized? Jane Doe says no casualties, no war captured. Okay, girl.
And flown out of the country. This operation was done in conjunction with U.S. law enforcement. Venezuela's defense minister, speaking from an unknown place, calling it the most criminal military aggression from the U.S. in the history of our country.
In history. In history. That's what he said. Is that true? Yay, nay. Shout out to Legend. Thank you so much for your generosity, Boo. I appreciate you. Always, always welcome. He said it's about the oil. Don't believe Trump. They have done this before. Where are the weapons of mass destruction that Saddam was to have? I do remember that. I don't believe nothing they say. If you know the history, you know how they move. Well, child, wait till we get to this daycare stuff, because shout out to Ms. AB. Y'all be keeping me informed, child. But let's hear it. Thank you so much, Legend. I appreciate you. Y'all hit the like button for me. Subscribe if you are new. Good morning. Happy January the 3rd, 2026, child.
The massive escalation coming after a significant U.S. military buildup in the region. The Pentagon striking more than 30 boats the U.S. alleges were involved in drug trafficking operations, at least one.
Damn! They was hitting boats like that they sitting in the middle of the ocean on fire?
Of our country. The massive escalation coming after a significant U.S. military buildup in the region. The Pentagon striking more than 30 boats the U.S. alleges were involved in drug trafficking operations, at least 115 people killed.
Jane Doe, it looked like casualties, child. It looked like casualties.
Since those strikes began on
I'm assuming somebody was on them boats.
September 2nd. In a memo obtained by ABC News in October, the administration telling Congress that America is in armed conflict and that drug cartels are deemed unlawful combatants. President Maduro facing drug charges, including narco-terrorism conspiracy since Trump's first administration, after federal prosecutors alleged he deliberately used cocaine as a weapon. Back in 2020, U.S. officials telling Americans they plan to eventually gain custody of the Venezuelan leader. In recent days, more signs pointing to this latest attack. The USS Gerald R. Ford, the most advanced lethal aircraft carrier in the world, spotted on New Year's Day, seen in these satellite images, positioned closer to Venezuela's coast than it had ever been amidst the recent bout of tensions just some 200 miles away. And the FAA banning U.S. commercial flights in Venezuelan airspace for, quote, ongoing military activity ahead of the attack. Trump had warned that land strikes were imminent.
We'll start that on land, too. It's going to be starting on land pretty soon.
Saying in a recent interview with Politico that he wants to see Maduro gone.
So how far would you go to take Maduro out of office?
I mean, I don't know who Maduro is, but obviously he's not. I'm assuming, I don't know, that he ain't nice. Legend said all the drugs come from Mexico. So all the drugs come from Mexico? All of them? Are we putting that on Mexico? Are we really saying that all drugs come from Mexico? Okay. All right. Shout out to Lawrence. He said, also, let's keep in mind whom all in 2020 election participants from these countries also had a part in removing Trump out of office by force in order to continue the deals under Biden. Woo, Lord help your people. I'm keeping an eye on whether he comes on or not.
I don't want to say that,
But you want to see him out?
His days are numbered.
Can you rule out an American ground invasion?
I don't want to rule in or out. I don't talk about it.
For his part, Maduro had said just one day ago that he was open to talks with the U.S. and in a separate pre-taped interview released Thursday, described a recent call the two had. Saying, I think that conversation was even pleasant.
So, child, was he on TikTok giving this information up?
But the events following the conversation haven't been pleasant. Let's hope.
Just absolutely stunning developments here. And Matt, you're learning a lot more about what this operation was like because we're talking about U.S. Special Forces involved.
Yeah, each
kind of hour that goes by in this story, Gio, we're learning more and more details that just are more stunning than the next. And so President Trump was actually just on Fox News, and he gave out some details. Forgive me, I'm going to reference my phone here because we're just getting this information in. But he says at one point that special forces went into the complex where Maduro was living. They had to break into what he describes as steel doors, the kind of safety room that the heads of state
Clearly, they didn't work too well, child.
often have to kind of hide in these sorts of situations. He's saying lots of helicopters, lots of different fighter jets, and then he described it as an Osama bin Laden type raid where he could watch this raid play out in real time. So he basically said that Maduro was trying to do everything possible to stay away from this, and yet the special forces were able to get in. Crucially, he says he does not believe, he doesn't know, he said on this interview, but he thinks no Americans were killed. He thinks one of the American helicopters might have been hit. He thinks there might be some injuries. He says, I have to say a couple of guys were hit, but they came back and they're supposed to be in pretty good shape. So it does appear that there might have been some American casualties in this raid, but this is just these early stages where we're still needing so much more information about what happened here. But this does seem like an incredibly complex operation that did perhaps result in some American casualties.
And difficult to get information because U.S. reporters are not allowed in Venezuela at the moment right now. What's the reaction been like? Because
Child, they probably try and get down there too. It wouldn't be me, y'all. It would not be me, child. Let me just sit in the studio and talk. I would never. I'd be like, those people that go when like it's a hurricane of 55,000 miles, they be out there. I'm like, y'all crazy. I hope y'all get paid for that well. Shatar, I appreciate you. Very generous of you, hun. Thank you so much. She said, my brother called me as I just woke up. Not a drop of coffee in my system to tell me we bombed Venezuela. I said, who's we? I didn't ish. Don't piss me off, girl. It's done. It's done. It's we, USA, we. We as in, Hold on. Oh, I got the sound on where he's supposed to start talking. I thought I heard something, but I ain't hear nothing. Yeah, they said we like as in French. United States of America.
Because you look at the streets, and we've seen those images, lots of Venezuelans appear to be celebrating.
So
Venezuelans appear to be happy, child.
It really depends on what side you're on here. There are going to certainly be people in the capital, many of whom are on the Maduro payroll or have been in one way or another, or just are true believers who will come out and be very pro-Maduro and want to come out and support the government. But I think it's fair to say that that is a minority in the country. Within Venezuela itself, you've got the vast majority of people who are not pro-regime. Absolutely not. They might be a bit nervous about what's going to happen next. So that's the people in Venezuela. And then outside of Venezuela, we actually have some sound that we can play here with people in the diaspora, people who have left. We know millions of Venezuelans have left in recent years, many because of political persecution. They will be among the happiest. Let's hear what some have to say.
Somos libres, todos estamos felices de que cayó la dictadura y que tenemos un país libre.
Me siento bastante venezolano el día de hoy, después de tantos años, después de muchas luchas, después de mucho trabajo. Hoy es el día, hoy llegó el día y el día de la libertad. El día que tanto los venezolanos como yo, como todas estas personas que están acá, como todas las personas alrededor del mundo estábamos esperando.
But the question,
Child, they happy as a pig and shit.
Here, Gio, remains they can be happy and no question about it, but what happens next?
Right. Is there anyone in line now?
Well, so what you've heard so far is Delcy Rodriguez, the vice president, the number 2 in the country. She's come out and said she's not declaring herself interim president, at least not yet. She says Maduro is still the legitimate president there. But it does appear that the majority of his inner circle, senior officials, are still in place for the moment. So it does appear that they're still running the country. But President Trump was asked about that on Fox. He came out and said, well, we're looking at that. He appeared to say that he doesn't want this government to continue, but what he's willing to do to get those people out, to somehow change this to some sort of democratic transition, free and fair elections. We're very far away from figuring out all that, just hours away from what unquestionably was one of the most stunning U.S. military operations in recent history.
So many questions. We'll let you get back to your sources here to get more information. Matt Rivers, thank you so
much. Thanks, Matt Rivers. Nice suit you got on there. Let me go over here to, wait. What happened? Hold on. Trying to make sure he hasn't started talking yet. All right, he has not. So let's go over here where it says CBS Miami, Venezuelans in Doral react to historic moment after Maduro's capture. So I'm assuming they meet in Miami.
It is live in Doral. See, we can already hear the celebrations behind you.
That's right. The demonstrators here tell me that this is a day that will go down in history for the people of Venezuela. They tell me this was not an act of war, but an act of freedom here. And so we are here in Doral.
Not an act of war, an act of freedom.
At El Arapazo, this is a gas station, but people have pretty much occupied it, and they've been here since before the sun got up here. People have been hugging, singing, celebrating. They've been singing the U.S. national anthem, the Venezuelan national anthem here. And again, there is such a massive Venezuelan population here in Doral, so this really does hit home. There are people with family down in Caracas, and they tell me they're more comfortable with going down to see them now with Maduro being removed here. The demonstrators tell me with the last election in Venezuela, where Maduro was accused of rigging the election and seizing power, people tell
So he rigged the election and seized power. Oh, Maduro, that ain't nice, child. That ain't nice.
In population here in Doral, so this really does hit home. There are people with family down in Caracas, and they tell me they're more comfortable with going down to see them now with Maduro being removed here. The demonstrators tell me with the last election in Venezuela, where Maduro was accused of rigging the election and seizing power, people tell me this was the only way to get him out. Here's what someone said that we spoke to earlier.
Uh-oh. So he wasn't a good man at all. Uh-oh. He was not a good person, it sounds like.
It means that they waited so many years for a chance at freedom, and it's finally here. So it's 26 years of, of waiting and waiting for a better Venezuela that's free. And now they're going to be able to all go back and enjoy with their families.
And again, a very emotional time for the Venezuelan community here. As we all know, Maduro had succeeded Hugo Chavez. So many of the people here have been waiting to be able to say that they have a more free Venezuela here and that they can go back to their families here. We are going to be here throughout the morning getting reaction from the Venezuelan community here. And we see some elected officials coming here. So be sure to stay with us both on air and online. But for now, we are live in Doral. Steve Najiri.
He has a nice voice.
CBS News, Miami.
Hey, and Steve, I was wondering out there, are you hearing much about President Trump? Are people talking about that Trump did this, or just more concerned about that it's finally happened?
Amazing.
Well, that's a good question. Right now, people are really more concerned about what is next for Venezuela. Many people are just sinking in the fact that Nicolas Maduro has now been taken out of Venezuela. So they're not really thinking a lot about what the president did or whether they support it or not. What really hits home and what matters for most of the people here is that Nicolas Maduro has been taken out of Venezuela.
Steve, let me ask you this, because we've talked a lot about Venezuelans, many of them losing their immigration status. And with this regime change, if you will, does this ease any fears about going back home for some of them to Venezuela?
Well, actually, many people here tell me they're much more comfortable going back now to Caracas here. But what really hit home for a lot of people here is that they said if they were down in Caracas, they would be much more nervous about protesting there. But they're, of course, being in the United States, where we have freedom of speech, they are much more comfortable and so happy that they can celebrate this here in the United States.
Steve, walk us around. Give us the landscape. I want to see the folks who are out.
Girl, ain't nobody trying to see all that. Black Men King, thank you so much, and I appreciate you. He said, Messi, you got Jasmine saying that Trump should have asked her for permission to bomb up Venezuela. Jasmine Crockett? Are you serious? Are you serious? Are y'all serious? Jasmine won't rest till Trump out of office by force. Jasmine already making side money with these these country. It's the bills she helped sponsor. What are you? Let me see if I can find something. Because, child, these people are. I agree. These people are happy. Not that it is about them, but I just wanted. Those people are here in the United States. All right. There's still nothing on the station I'm waiting for Trump to talk on. I think we already saw this one. Hold on. I thought I had another one. One second. Oh, no, this is different. Everybody just going to Doral. Child, is that where everybody goes in Florida?
Coverage turning to the wild scene we've been witnessing all morning outside of El Arepaso and Doral.
Yeah, so many people showing support for Venezuela. This after the capture of Nicolas Maduro. We do have Moses and Jolena Sparto live with more. Hey, Jolena.
Hi, I think you guys can hear me now, and let me tell you something. There is a massive dance party going on behind me. I just want you to take a look at it. I almost got caught in the middle of it, but I wanted to show you guys instead, so I stepped outside. But look at this pool of Venezuelan flags. I mean, just look at everybody erupting and singing and dancing. There is so much emotion in this, mostly happy, but of course, it's a mix of emotions. It's been scary. It's been scary, and a lot of these people, they're Venezuelan, they're Venezuelan Americans. They have family back in Venezuela, and some of them have not slept, because they have had to make sure their family was all right once they heard the news. And I want to introduce you to someone, the 16-year-old Emily Tovar. Emily, tell me a little bit about what it's been like. You have not slept, have you?
Yes, bro. Oh my God. Like, you don't understand the feeling that I have right now, because I haven't been there in so long. I really miss being there. I miss my family. I want to see them. But what is happening right now, like, I'm so happy that it's happening, because they really needed to take down the president. They need to take out Padrino, that's Vladimir, and also Diosdado. They need to take him down. Those two are the ones who we need to take them down right now.
How long have you been here?
8 years. I've been living here 8 years.
And how long have you been here this morning?
This morning?
Celebrating.
Oh my God, probably like 7 a.m., 6 a.m. in the morning until, I don't know.
And has it been worth the night of no sleep after hearing all the news and being able to celebrate what you're able to?
Yes, I was going to sleep, and then I saw the news, and I woke up my friends. Like, I was so scared because of my family that they're living there. and my parents were like super scared. They were calling my family and all that stuff. But thank God they're good. They're in a safe place right now, and hopefully everything goes well in the future.
I wonder if that gas station is happy that they all in there blocking them from getting people that want to get gas.
Yeah, thank God. And if I wasn't bothering you talking to me right now, would you be in that dance party?
Probably.
I'm going to let you get back to that dance party, all right? Because I just don't want to keep you too long. You've been waiting to tell us how everything has been. Thank you so much. And I just want to show you guys again what's going on.
Is Doro about to look like men a damn soda? Black Men Kings, thank you, hun. Yes. Well, here's the funny part. Over here on, I'm looking on Instagram.
This is amazing.
Because you would expect that the blogs would have anything that Jasmine Crockett says up, right? They ain't talking about it at all. From what I can see so far, they ain't talking about this at all. Like what is going on at all. Shouldn't this be something that should be on their list of things to talk about? Yeah, I think they're at a gas station. Hopefully it's a Venezuelan gas station, though. Thank you, Boo, for another 20 stream sponsors, sir. Thank you so much. He said they're going to install a puppet government that will favor America down in Venezuela, of course. Why are they so concerned about other countries when the Klan is still HANGing people? I'm telling you, they have done this before. Look up Muammar Gaddafi. You know, I've heard somebody talking about that earlier as well. And somebody else that Trump just pardoned. And I was like, I think I might have the video still. It's like, well, wait a minute. You just went and got this guy for DRUG, but you let the other one out who was in there for the same thing. I got to see if I can find that video. I was watching it a little bit before I was able to get back on here. Thank you so much. Let me go ahead and update the banner and let this damn thing, excuse me, play. It's almost done though.
Because so much is happening here at El Arapazo. Just look at everybody. They are so happy. I've never seen such a sea of Venezuelan flags, all different types of flags. I mean, it is a beautiful atmosphere out here right now. And we are going to be here. We're going to stay here. We're going to let you know how the party is going. I have seen dogs dressed up in their flag pride outfits. I've seen costumes celebrating liberty. So we're going to be here. But let me tell you something. If you're not here, you're definitely missing a good party. I'll send it back to you guys.
Well, certainly a party that follows so much desperation, so much sadness, years and years of the Venezuelan cause, the epicenter of all of that right there outside of El Arepazo, an epic moment of joy for so many of these people, but still a lot of questions, a lot of concerns ahead, but in this moment right now.
Ooh, okay. Yeah, I think it was Saddam, actually, now that you said that. But of course, you know, right-winged angel is going to talk about it. He said the people are very happy after U.S. military operation resulted in the capture of their dictator, President Nicolas Maduro. But of course, you know his slant, you know he's conservative, but the other ones ain't talking about it. Venezuelan people celebrate in the streets after U.S. military captures dictator Nicolas Maduro. Oh, my bad, y'all.
Esperando que esto suceda. ¿Cuántos años tienes viviendo aquí en Estados Unidos?
Tenía 11 años.
¿Tus padres en dónde están?
Disculpa.
¿Tus padres están aquí contigo?
Sí, mis padres están acá. Ellos vinieron. Mi papá fue alcalde de la oposición y fue perseguido político. Y bueno, él vino para acá para simplemente huir y que nosotros tengamos una buena educación. Y es muy loco que de un día para otro yo...
You think, do Africans think, okay, whatever. So, if you guys have not...
Austin is on. He said the United States wants more oil.
The United States is willing to start wars behind resources.
Yes, we
right.
Have.
So,
for sure.
One of the first, and not the only, maybe it's not the first, it's one of the earliest examples of this, is when the United States invaded, I believe it was Guatemala, behind bananas, because they were losing their they had a new president there that was pushing back against foreign companies like the United Fruit Company exploiting the locals. And even it got so bad with them where to the point where they literally only paid, United Fruit Company only paid their employees in vouchers that you could only use at United Fruit Company. So whenever they got paid, they couldn't go outside of the premises of the business and go buy groceries. They could only buy whatever they sold at the place, right? So They invaded and took over.
Well, since he's hanging out in foreign lands, he should know, right?
And they did their own genocides against the Native Americans that lived in Guatemala at the time. I believe it was Guatemala. Then we have the 50th state, which is...
All right, moving on. Before I let this play, let me thank Sink Fan Hun. I appreciate you. He said, good morning, Michon, and peace to the chat. Doral is where most of the Venezuelans in Florida and the larger U.S. reside. All right. I appreciate you. Shout out to all of y'all. Hit the like button for me. Subscribe if you're new. No, we're not talking about childcare, at least not yet, because Trump invaded Venezuela. He captured Nicolas and his wife, and allegedly the DRUGS was coming through, but it sounds like, and I've heard people say that maybe it might be due to oil and crypto. Allegedly, child. Don't come for me, child. Allegedly. Let this one play. This is ABC. Trump holds a news conference on Venezuela's strike, but not yet. He hasn't started.
Concealed in New York, and that, again, the military was there to conduct this operation on behalf of U.S. law enforcement. But again, in that picture you see, that's the messaging you're going to hear throughout the day.
And Pierre, while I have you, someone pointed out this contradiction that, we now have this image of Maduro in custody, but then recently President Trump pardoned Juan Orlando Hernandez, the former president of Honduras, who was actually convicted on narcotics trafficking charges. How are your sources responding to that, and what's likely to be the reaction going forward?
Well, that's a very good question. Here's the issue. The administration and President Trump himself has tried to portray the Biden administration prosecution of the former president of Honduras as, quote, illegitimate, and that it was bogus in some regards. Having said that, the man was convicted by a jury in the United States of these crimes. Number two, critics are saying that this is an example of inconsistent, to be kind, in terms of their words, action by the administration. On the one hand, the claim was very similar about the former president of Honduras, that he was engaged and helped participate in facilitating countless amounts of drugs coming into the United States, which is the exact charge that's being brought against Maduro today.
All right, Pierre, Tom.
Yeah. No more DRUGS.
Viewers, too, again, as we're seeing these images coming in from Venezuela, and also that the lower corner there, that is a live picture from Mar-a-Lago, where the president is expected to speak any moment. All of this comes amid these increased tensions with Venezuela and the strikes on alleged drug boats in the Caribbean and the Pacific. There have been at least 121 alleged drug smugglers who've been killed in some 30 strikes as all of this has been escalating. And we've been talking about the military buildup in the region. There are now about 15,000 U.S. military personnel in the Caribbean. We've talked about the USS General Ford there, and 2,200 Marines aboard a number of ships in the Caribbean. No doubt all of them there to support this operation. So let's go back to our chief foreign affairs correspondent, Martha Raddatz, to talk more about the operation.
Unfortunately, this is going to be another split within, I think, the conservatives.
Well, I mean, yeah, Megyn Kelly's already picked up the nickname of Grandma Graper in some parts.
just to keep everybody up. So this is ABC News. It's a live feed. They're showing the explosions and everything. They are. We're just waiting for Trump and his team to come and explain what the hell happened last night, why. And so forth and so forth. So they should be out pretty soon. But everybody's waiting on the explanation, because that's kind of why. It's kind of like, why the urgency, why now, and what are the repercussions of this? Let me read a couple of these super chats. God bless you, Nate's video. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Shout out to Nate. It looks like he's doing much better, which is good to hear. I got to take this phone call, y'all.
Be consistent, folks. So just he'll come on and off. He has different energy levels on different days.
Maduro's sent, with Biden's help, 80,000 people, and then I think it's de Agua, but Tre de Agua, right?
Tren de Agua. It's hard to say. TDA.
Yes, to cause chaos. That's an act of war to me. We don't care about international law as Americans. I think we do in certain instances, but I think
that's the problem. Is we do have we cherry pick.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
Nate, the Godfather of Law 2, have been following
Yeah,
your
you've read this
Rittenhouse
one.
days. Yes. The Rittenhouse days were great. Great. Oh, thanks, King Bucks. Thanks, and Happy New Year. Happy New Year to everybody too, because I didn't say that. From a moral point of view, he was an illegitimate leader, correct. The only angle that matters was practical. Will this detestable destabilize Venezuela, or will it give the people their country back? Now,
this is why we have to wait.
I would say this. Oh,
there he is.
So let's listen to that.
Maduro, and here is President
Here it
Trump
is.
from Mar-a-Lago.
Okay, thank you very much. This is big stuff.
You made us wait a long time.
And we appreciate you being here. Late last night, conducted an extraordinary military operation in the capital of Venezuela. Overwhelming American military power, air, land, and sea, was used to launch a spectacular assault. And it was an assault like people have not seen since World War II. It was a force against a heavily fortified military fortress in the heart of Caracas to bring outlaw dictator Nicolas Maduro to justice. This was one of the most stunning, effective, and powerful displays of American military might and competence in American history. And if you think about it, we've done some other good ones, like the attack on Soleimani, the attack on al-Baghdadi, and the obliteration and decimation of the Iran nuclear sites just recently in an operation known as Midnight Hammer. All perfectly executed and done.
Oh my God.
No nation in the world could achieve what America achieved yesterday, or frankly, in just a short period of time. All Venezuelan military capacities were rendered powerless as the men and women of our military, working with U.S. law enforcement, successfully captured Maduro in the dead of night. It was dark. The lights of Caracas were largely turned off due to a certain expertise that we have. It was dark and it was deadly. But captured along
so
with his
remedial.
wife, Celia Flores, both of whom now face American justice. Maduro and Flores have been indicted in the Southern District of New York, Jay Clayton, for their campaign of deadly narco-terrorism against the United States and its citizens. I want to thank the men and women of our military who achieved such an extraordinary success overnight with breathtaking speed, power, precision, and competence. You rarely see anything like it. You've seen some raids in this country that didn't go so well. They were an embarrassment. If you look back to Afghanistan, or if you look back to the Jimmy Carter days.
Oh my God,
days,
this
we're
man.
a respected country again, like maybe like never before. These highly trained warriors operating in collaboration with U.S. law enforcement caught them in a very ready position. They were waiting for us. They knew we had many ships out in the sea, just sort of waiting. They knew we were coming. So they were in a ready, what's called a ready position. But they were completely overwhelmed and very quickly incapacitated. If you would have seen what I saw last night, you would have been very impressed. I'm not sure that you'll ever get to see it, but it was an incredible thing to see. Not a single American service member was killed, and not a single piece of American equipment was lost. We had many helicopters, many planes, many people involved in that fight. But think of that, not one piece of military equipment was lost, not one.
Oh my God.
Member was more importantly killed. The United States military is the strongest and most fearsome military on the planet by far. With capabilities and skills our enemies can scarcely begin to imagine. We have the best equipment anywhere in the world. There's no equipment like what we have. And you
Oh
see
my
that.
God! Are you
just look at
serious?
the boats, you know, we've knocked out 97% of the drugs coming in by sea. 90%. Each boat kills 25, on average, 25,000 people. We knocked out 97%. And those drugs mostly come from a place called Venezuela. We're going to run the country until such time.
Oh, we are?
As we can do a safe, proper, and judicious transition. So we don't want to be involved with having somebody else get in and
we get to
have
run it, yeah.
the same situation that we had for the last long period of years. So we are going to run the country until such time as we can do a safe, proper, and judicious transition. And it has to be judicious, because that's what we're all about. We want peace, liberty, and justice for the great people of Venezuela. And that includes many from Venezuela that are now living in the United States and want to go back to their country. It's their homeland. We can't take a chance that somebody else takes over Venezuela that doesn't have the good of the Venezuelan people in mind. Had decades of that. We're not going to let that happen. We're there now, and what people don't understand, but they understand as I say this.
Amazing.
We're there now, but we're going to stay until such time as the proper transition can take place. So we're going to stay until such time as we're going to run it essentially until such time as a proper transition can take place.
To who?
As everyone knows, the oil business in Venezuela has been a bust, a total bust, for a long period of time. They were pumping almost nothing by comparison to what they could have been pumping and what could have taken place. We're going to have our very large United States oil companies, the biggest anywhere in the world, go in, spend billions of dollars, fix the badly broken infrastructure, the oil infrastructure, and start making money for the country. And we are ready to stage a second and much larger attack if we need to do so. So we were prepared to do a second wave.
This is amazing.
We needed to do so. We actually assumed that a second wave would be necessary, but now it's probably not. The first wave, if you'd like to call it that, first attack was so successful, we probably don't have to do a second, but we're prepared to do a second wave, a much bigger wave. Actually.
Much bigger.
This was pinpoint, but we have a much bigger wave that probably won't have to do. This partnership of Venezuela with the United States of America, a country that everybody wants to be involved with because of what we were able to do and accomplish, will make the people of Venezuela rich, independent, and safe. And it will also make the many, many people from Venezuela that are living in the United States extremely happy. They suffered. They suffered. So much was taken from them.
Yeah.
They're not going to suffer anymore.
No. Yeah.
The illegitimate dictator Maduro was the kingpin of a vast criminal network responsible for trafficking colossal amounts of deadly and illicit drugs into the United States. As alleged in the indictment, he personally oversaw the vicious cartel known as Cartel de la Soles.
This is amazing.
Which flooded our nation.
Cartel de la Soles.
Poison.
They black?
Responsible for the deaths of countless Americans, many, many Americans, hundreds, thousands over the years of Americans died because of him.
Yeah.
Maduro and his wife will soon face the full might of American justice and stand trial on American soil. Right now, they're on a ship. They'll be heading to ultimately New York, and then a decision will be made soon between New York and Miami or Florida. But we have people where the overwhelming evidence of their crimes will be presented in a court of law, and I've seen it. I've seen what we have. It's both horrible and breathtaking that something like this could have been allowed to take place. For many years after his term as president of Venezuela expired, Maduro remained in power and waged a ceaseless campaign of violence, terror, and subversion against the United States of America, threatening not only our people, but the stability of the entire region. And you all saw it. In addition to trafficking gigantic amounts of illegal drugs that inflicted untold suffering and human destruction all over the country, all over, in particular, the United States, Maduro sent savage and murderous gangs, including the bloodthirsty prison gang, Tren de Aragua, to terrorize American communities nationwide. And he did indeed. They were in Colorado. They took over apartment complexes. They cut the fingers off people if they call police. They were brutal. They're not so brutal now. And I just have to congratulate our military, Pete and everybody, and our National Guard.
Yeah.
Because the job that they've done, whether it's in Washington, D.C., where we have a totally safe city, where it was one of the most unsafe cities anywhere in the world, frankly. And now we have no crime in Washington, D.C.
What?
We haven't had a killing. We had the terrorist attack a few weeks ago. A little bit of a different kind of a threat. But we haven't had a killing in a long period of time, 6-7 months. We used to have two, on average, two a week in Washington, our capital. We don't have that anymore. The restaurants are opening. Everyone's happy. They're walking their daughters. They're walking their children, their wives. They're walking.
Who's in D.C.?
Restaurants are opening all over Washington, D.C. So I want to thank the National Guard. I want to thank our military. And I want to thank law enforcement. It's amazing. And they should do it with more cities. We're doing it, as you know, and we're doing it in Memphis, Tennessee right now, and crime is down. We just sort of started a few weeks ago, but crime is down now 77%. And the governor of Louisiana called, great person.
Rambling, y'all.
And he wanted us
Rambling.
to help him, as you know, in a certain very nice part of Louisiana. And we have done that. And it was a rough section, and we have crime down. I understand it's down to almost nothing already after 2.5 weeks. New Orleans, it's down to almost nothing.
Nice air.
We've only been there for 2.5 weeks. Can't imagine why governors wouldn't want us to help. We also helped, as you know, in Chicago, and crime went down a little bit there. We did a very small help because we had no working ability with the governor. The governor was a disaster, and the mayor was a disaster. But it knocked down crime. But we're pulling out of there when they need us. We'll know. You'll know. You'll be writing about it. And likewise, Los Angeles, where we saved Los Angeles early on, where the head of the police department made a statement that if the federal government didn't come in, we would have lost Los Angeles. That's long after the fires. That's when they had the riots in Los Angeles. We did a great job. Got no credit for it whatsoever, but that's okay. It doesn't matter. We don't need the credit. But we'll be pulling out when they need us. They'll call, or we'll go back if we have to.
Awesome.
We'll go back. But we did a great job in various cities. But the place that we're very proud of is Washington, D.C.
Oh, my God.
Being a crime-ridden mess to being one of the safest cities in the country. But the gangs that they sent raped, tortured, and murdered American women and children. They were in all of the cities I mentioned, Tren de Aragua. And they were sent by Maduro to terrorize our people. And now Maduro will never again be able to threaten an American citizen or anybody from Venezuela. There will no longer be threats. For years, I've highlighted the stories of those innocent Americans whose lives were so heartlessly robbed by this Venezuelan terrorist organization. Really one of the worst. One of the worst, they say the worst. Americans like 12-year-old Jocelyn Nungari from Houston. Beautiful Jocelyn Nungari, what happened to her? They, as you know, they kidnapped, assaulted, and murdered by Tren de Aragua animals. They murdered Jocelyn and left her dead under the bridge. There was a bridge a bridge that will never be the same to so many people after seeing what happened. As I've said many times, the Maduro regime emptied out their prisons, sent their worst and most violent monsters into the United States to steal American lives. And they came from mental institutions and insane asylums. They came from prisons and jails. The reason I say both, they sound similar. Actually, prisons, a little bit more hostile, a little bit tougher. A mental institution isn't as tough as an insane asylum, but we got them both. They sent from their mental institutions, they sent from their jails, prisons. They were drug dealers, they were drug kingpins. They sent everybody bad into the United States, but no longer. And we have now a border where nobody gets through. In addition, Venezuela unilaterally seized and stole American oil, American assets, and American platforms, costing us billions and billions of dollars. We did this a while ago, but we never had a president that did anything about it. They took all of our property. It was our property. We built it. And we never had a president that decided to do anything about it. Instead, they fought wars that were 10,000 miles away. We built Venezuela oil industry with American talent, drive, and skill. And the socialist regime stole it from us during those previous administrations, and they stole it through force. This constituted one of the largest thefts of American property in the history of our country. Considered the largest theft of property in the history of our country. Massive oil infrastructure was taken like we were babies, and we didn't do anything about it. I would have done something about it. America will never allow foreign powers to rob our people or drive us back into and out of our own hemisphere. That's what they did. Furthermore, under the now deposed dictator Maduro, Venezuela was increasingly hosting foreign adversaries
Lord, help me.
and acquiring menacing offensive weapons that could threaten U.S. interests and lives. And they used those weapons last night. Potentially in league with the cartels operating along our border. All of these actions were in gross violation of the core principles of American foreign policy, dating back more than 2 centuries. And not anymore. All the way back, it dated to the Monroe Doctrines. And the Monroe Doctrine is a big deal, that we've superseded it by a lot. By a real lot.
Oh my God.
I call it the Monroe document. I don't know. It's Monroe Doctrine. We sort of forgot about it. It was very important, but we forgot about it. We don't forget about it anymore. Under our new national security strategy, American dominance in the Western Hemisphere will never be questioned again. Won't happen. So just in concluding, for decades, other administrations have neglected or even contributed to these growing security threats in the Western Hemisphere. Under the Trump administration, we are reasserting American power in a very powerful way in our home region. And our home region is very different than it was just a short while ago. The future will be, and we did this in my first term. We had great dominance in my first term, and
I'm about to turn on the violins.
Far greater dominance right now. Everyone's coming back to us. The future will be determined by the ability to protect commerce and territory and resources that are core to national security. These are core to our national security. Just like tariffs are, they've made our country rich, and they've made our national security stronger than ever before. But these are the iron laws that have always determined global power. And we're going to keep it that way. We will secure our borders. We will stop the terrorists. We will crash the cartels, and we will defend our citizens against all threats, foreign and domestic. Other presidents may have lacked the courage or whatever to defend America, but I will never allow terrorists and criminals to operate with impunity against the United States. This extremely successful operation should serve as warning to anyone who would threaten American sovereignty or endanger American lives. Very importantly, the embargo on all Venezuelan oil remains in
Oh,
full
back to the
effect.
script. Good job.
The American Armada remains poised in position, and the United States retains all military options until United States demands have been fully met and fully satisfied. All political and military figures in Venezuela should understand what happened to Maduro can happen to them, and it will happen to them if they aren't just fair, even to their people. The dictator and terrorist, Maduro, is finally gone in Venezuela. People are free. They're free again. It's been a long time for them, but they're free. America is a safer nation. This morning, it's a prouder nation this morning because it didn't allow this horrible person and this country that was doing very bad things to us. It didn't allow it to happen. And the Western Hemisphere is right now a much safer place to be. So I want to thank everybody for being here. I want to thank General Raisin Kane. He's fantastic, man.
Oh, Raisin
I worked with
Kane.
a lot of generals. I worked with some I didn't like. I worked with some I didn't respect.
Damn.
Some that just weren't good. But this guy is fantastic. I watched last night one of the most precise attacks on sovereignty. I mean, it was an attack for justice. And I'm very proud of him, and I'm very proud of our Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth, who I'm going to ask to say a few words. Thank you very much.
Mr. President, can you explain how the U.S. will run Venezuela?
Well, thank you, Mr. President. Finally, a commander-in-chief the world respects and the American people deserve. And as the president said, words can barely capture the bravery and the power and the precision of this historic operation. A massive joint military and law enforcement raid flawlessly executed by the greatest Americans our country has to offer. American warriors are second to none, the best in the world and the best of our country. What all of us witnessed last night was sheer guts and grit, gallantry and glory of the American warrior. I'm simply humbled by such men. And I tip my hat to our chairman, Dan Raisin Kane, and all those Americans who stood watch last night. Our warriors are the elite of America. And again, President Trump has your back. No other country on planet Earth, and it's not even close, could pull this kind of operation off. And no other president has ever shown this kind of leadership, courage, and resolve. The most powerful combination the world has ever seen. As the president said, our adversaries remain on notice. America can project our will anywhere, anytime. The coordination, the stealth, the lethality, the precision, the very long arm of American justice, all on full display in the middle of the night. Nicolas Maduro had his chance, just like Iran had their chance, until they didn't and until he didn't. He effed around and he found out. President Trump is deadly serious about stopping the flow of gangs and violence to our country. Deadly serious about stopping the flow of drugs and poison to our people. Deadly serious about getting back the oil that was stolen from us. Deadly serious about reestablishing American deterrence and dominance in the Western Hemisphere. This is about the safety, security, freedom, and prosperity of the American people. This is America first. This is peace through strength. And the United States War Department is proud to help deliver it. Welcome to 2026. And under President Trump, America is back. I'd like to welcome now our Chairman Raisin Kane, to give a few more details.
Raisin Kane.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. Thank you, Mr. President, and good morning. Last night, on the order of the President of the United States and in support of a request from the Department of Justice, as the President said, the United States military conducted an apprehension mission in Caracas, Venezuela, to bring to justice two indicted persons, Nicolas and Cecilia Maduro. This operation, known as Operation Absolute Resolve, was discreet, precise, and conducted during the darkest hours of January 2nd, and was the culmination of months of planning and rehearsal, an operation that frankly only the United States military could undertake. What I'd like to do this morning is talk to you through some of the preparation and the details without compromising any of our tactics, techniques, and procedures. There is always a chance that we'll be tasked to do this type of mission again. Our interagency work began months ago and built on decades of experience of integrating complex air, ground, space, and maritime operations. While the past 2 decades have honed the skills of our special operations forces, this particular mission required every component of our joint force, with soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marines, and Guardians working in unison with our intelligence agency partners and law enforcement teammates in an unprecedented operation. We leveraged our unmatched intelligence capabilities and our years of experience in hunting terrorists. And we could not have done this mission without the incredible work by various intelligence agencies, including the CIA, NSA, and NGA. We watched, we waited, we prepared, we remained patient and professional. This mission was meticulously planned, drawing lessons from decades of missions over the last many years, many missions over these last many years. This was an audacious operation that only the United States could do. It required the utmost of precision and integration within our joint force. And the word integration does not explain the sheer complexity of such a mission. An extraction so precise, it involved more than 150 aircraft launching across the Western Hemisphere in close coordination, all coming together in time and place to layer effects for a single purpose: to get an interdiction force into downtown Caracas while maintaining the element of tactical surprise. Failure of one component of this well-oiled machine would have endangered the entire mission, and failure is never an option for America's joint force. Those in the air over Caracas last night were willing to give their lives for those on the ground and in the helicopters. Let me talk a little bit about the preparation. After months of work by our intelligence teammates to find Maduro and understand how he moved, where he lived, where he traveled, what he ate, what he wore, what were his pets, in early December, our force was set pending a series of aligned events. Key was choosing the right day to minimize the potential for civilian harm and maximize the element of surprise and minimize the harm to the indicted personnel, so as the president said, they could be brought to justice. And as the president said earlier today, weather in Venezuela is always a factor this time of the year. And over the weeks through Christmas and New Year's, the men and women of the United States military sat ready, patiently waiting for the right triggers to be met and the president to order us into action. Last night, the weather broke just enough, clearing a path that only the most skilled aviators in the world could maneuver through. Ocean, mountain, low cloud ceilings, but when tasked with a mission, this organization does not quit. At 10:46 p.m. Eastern time last night, the president ordered the United States military to move forward with this mission. He said to us, and we appreciate it, Mr. President, good luck and Godspeed. And those words were transmitted to the entire joint force. Over the course of the night, aircraft began launching from 20 different bases on land and sea across the Western Hemisphere. In total, more than 150 aircraft, bombers, fighters, intelligence, reconnaissance, surveillance, rotary wing were in the air last night. Thousands and thousands of hours of experience were airborne. Our youngest crew member was 20, and our oldest crew member was 49. And there's simply no match for American military might. As the night began, the helicopters took off with the extraction force, which included law enforcement officers, and began their flight into Venezuela at 100 feet above the water. As they approached Venezuelan shores,
All right, child. I'm about as long as Donald Trump is not talking, because child, he sounds so remedial. He's going through the play-by-play. So let him go by. Listen, we already know what it is. So shout out to Nicole. Shout out to everyone that is here. Hit the like button for me. Subscribe if you are new. So no, this is not daycare talk. This is the Venezuelan takeover. Trump went in there last night and took the president and his wife on up out of there. And, people are divided, of course, on how they feel about this. Allegedly, this was illegal. Allegedly, this is about oil, which, of course, when people do stuff like this, they do want something. I don't disagree that, Trump is not a person that's benevolent, y'all. I don't care what y'all say. Say what you want. He is not benevolent. He's just not sitting around thinking about, what can I do to make lives better for these people? No, that's not it. So it would make sense. And then I think Uncle Rick said something about cryptocurrency or something like that. I'm not really sure about that. So of course he's going to get something out of it. But the fact that he just sat there and said, we're going to run the country when there's a whole ass woman that's waiting to be, she's available to take it on over. Like, I guess she's the equivalent of vice president or something. So why can't she do it? Ain't that's what she there? Isn't that what she's there for? We don't care. Kay said, so we don't care what the people in the country are saying? Hell no. Why would we care what they got to say? I don't give a damn what they got to say. How come they wasn't taking care of it? How come they wasn't taking care of it? So you think that Donald Trump did this out of the kindness of his heart? Seriously? He was just sitting there one night saying, you know what? I think I'm going to go do something just to do something. Okay. Yeah, I don't think that's what that is. Let me acknowledge your super chats. I appreciate y'all being here and helping me out and supporting the channel. Shatara said, thank you, boo. Well, I'm ready to go on my cruise now. The 16th couldn't come faster. We are 3 days into the year, and truth is, we is tired. Well, here's the thing. Since you mentioned that, let me go on over here because this just came out. That was an alert to me. That says Delta cancels Caribbean flights, closely monitoring ongoing situation in the region. So depending on where you go, child, you better make sure that it's still going. It says Delta began canceling flights early Saturday morning in compliance with FAA airspace closures in the Caribbean. As cancellations are processed, customers will receive notifications via the Flight Delta app and contact information listed in their reservation. So, child, be on the lookout. Because you just never know. You just never know. Child, this is interesting, if not anything else. Thank you so much, boo. Shout out to Jay. Appreciate you, boo. He said another belt to the ass moment by T Money, respectfully.
This is amazing.
Good morning. You so crazy. Shout out to Legend with another 2. He said, told you, a puppet government. Yeah, like they need you. We're gonna take it over. Who? We? Who? Us? Do we got some saying in any of this? I'm thinking we don't. Now the United States is going to run Venezuela. Okay, whatever y'all say. Shout out to Beach Drizzle. I appreciate you, boo. He said, we know he's an old man that likes to talk. He likes to ramble. You got the whole ass check sheet. She talking about Chicago and DC and everything is safe. No, I don't think. Is he the equivalent of Joe Biden right now? When Joe Biden was coming to the end, just saying shit, crime is down. So now Trump that's where he's at. Shout out to Legend with another 2. He said, you can't make this ish up. It's all about the oil. I believe you. I absolutely believe you. He did not do this out of the kindness of his heart, child. Mike Love up in here. Thank you so much, and I appreciate you. He said, translation, we got rid of the plug. Now this is our block. Holla if you want some of that Vene crude. Yeah, it's like in The Wire. They took out the people that was on the corner, and now they're going to take it over. Allegedly. Shout out to Carbide 6. I appreciate you, Hun, for becoming a member. Shout out to all the channel members. I see you. I appreciate you. Shout out to everyone that is here. Thank you so much for your support. And shout out to everybody over here on Instagram, because I'm trying to figure out how to do Instagram. I see y'all. I can't necessarily keep up with all the comments, but thank you so much for hanging in there. Appreciate you. Shout out to Wayne Lundy in the building. I appreciate you, boo. He said, this is the part I like. I'm really a soldier, and this move made me proud. We're winning. I want all my money back. Well, I was going to ask the, the veterans, was this a good thing or not? Anybody that's military now, current, veteran, all that stuff, was this a good move or no? Shout out to y'all. We appreciate you. Shout out to Chris in the building. Thank you so much, honey. He said, let's not forget Maduro wanted to take half of Guyana for the oil there, which is a Black Caribbean nation, but Trump is a racist. Shout out to Guyana. I know a couple of people from Guyana. I did not know that. Sometimes we need all the information. Oh, Lord. Let's hear if Mark got anything to say.
Other than the following points.
Speak up.
Maduro was indicted in 2020 in the United States. He is not the legitimate president of Venezuela. That's not just us saying it. The first Trump administration, the Biden administration, the second Trump administration, none of those three recognized him. He's not recognized by the European Union and multiple countries around the world. He is a fugitive of American justice with a $50 million reward, which I guess we saved $50 million. And
We should make sure.
yeah, exactly. But
Don't let anybody claim it. Nobody deserves it but us.
But I want to be clear about one thing. Nicolas Maduro had multiple opportunities to avoid this. He was provided multiple very, very, very generous offers and chose instead to act like a wild man, chose instead to play around. And the result is what we saw tonight. The other message here is the following. You have a guy, like many people around the world, they like to play games. You have a guy who decides he's going to invite Iran into his country, is going to, do the confiscation of American oil companies, is going to flood our country with gang members, is going to take Americans prisoner and try to hold them for hostage and trade them like he was able to do with the Biden administration. Basically likes to play games all this time and thinks nothing's going to happen. And I hope what people now understand is that we have a president. The 47th president of the United States is not a game player. When he tells you that he's going to do something, when tells you he's going to address a problem, he means it. He actions it. I can tell you, I've watched this process now for 14, 15 years, been around it. Everybody talks. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. When I get there, we're going to do this. We're going to take. This is a president of action. Like, I don't understand yet how they haven't figured this out. And now, if you don't know, now you know. Because this is the way it's going to play out.
Now you know.
People need to understand that this is not a president that just talks and does letters and press conferences. And, if he says he's serious about something, he means it. And this is something that was a direct threat to the national interest of the United States, and the president addressed it. There's a president of peace, by the way. I told you what I just said earlier. This guy had multiple opportunities to find his way somewhere else and figure out another. He could have been living somewhere else right now, very happy, but instead he wanted to play big boy. And so now, he's got other sets of problems on his hands. And but I think the message here should be for the world. Look, the president doesn't go out looking for people to pick fights with. He's not generally wants to get along with everybody. We'll talk and meet with anybody, but don't play games. Don't play games with this president's in office, because it's not going to turn out well. And so I hope that I guess that lesson was learned last night, and we hope it'll be instructive moving forward.
Mr. President.
Mr. President.
Mr. President. Mr. President.
You said that the U.S. is going to run Venezuela. So who's in power right now?
Well, we're going to be running it with a group, and we're going to make sure it's run properly. We're going to rebuild the oil infrastructure, which will cost billions of dollars. It'll be paid for by the oil companies directly. They will be reimbursed for what they're doing, but it's going to be paid. And we're going to get the oil flowing the way it should be. As you know, it was just a minor flow. It was actually a minor flow for what they had. But we're going to run it properly, and we're going to make sure the people of Venezuela are taken care of. We're going to make sure the people that were forced out of Venezuela by this thug are also taken care of.
Mr. President.
Does the U.S. running the country mean that U.S. troops will be on the ground? How will that work?
Well, they always say boots on the ground. So we're not afraid of boots on the ground if we have to have. We had boots on the ground last night at a very high level, actually. We're not afraid of it. We don't mind saying it. But we're going to make sure that that country is run properly. We're not doing this in vain. This is a very dangerous attack. This is an attack that could have gone very, very badly. Could have gone very badly. We could have lost a lot of people last night. We could have lost a lot of dignity. We could have lost a lot of equipment. The equipment is less important, but we could have lost a lot. And we're going to make sure that this is proper. We're there now. We're ready to go again if we have to. We're going to run the country right. It's going to be run very judiciously, very fairly. It's going to make a lot of money. We're going to give money to the people. We're going to reimburse people that were taken advantage of. We're going to take care of everybody. It's very important. We couldn't let them get away with it. They stole our oil. We built that whole industry there, and they just took it over like we were nothing. And we had a president that decided not to do anything about it. So we did something about it. We're late, but we did something about it. Yeah, please.
Mr. President, can you explain the exact mechanism by which you're going to run the country? Are you going to designate a U.S. official to coordinate?
It's
Can you
all
just
being
unpack that?
done right now. We're designating people. We're talking to
Who
people. We're designating various people, and we're going to let you know who those people are.
Mr. President.
Joe Biden's gonna do it.
Would run Venezuela.
Well, it's largely going to be for a period of time. The people that are standing right behind me, we're going to be running it. We're going to be bringing it back. It's a dead. You know, I talk about a dead country. A year and a half ago, we were a dead country. Now we're the hottest country anywhere in the world.
The hottest country.
Doing better than any country anywhere in the world. And,
Oh my God, it's a clown show.
Venezuela has a lot of bad people in there, a lot of bad people that shouldn't be leading. We're not going to take a chance that one of those people take over for Maduro. So you can look at, and others, we have fantastic people, including people in the military. So we're going to have a group of people running it until such time as it can be put back on track, make a lot of money for the people, and give people a great way of life, and also reimbursement for people in our country that were forced out of Venezuela.
Rubio would be.
You said earlier today that you weren't going to back Machado to come back and be the opposition leader in your Fox and Friends interview. And then you also mentioned the vice president of Venezuela. Are you going to work with vice president of Venezuela, or how do you foresee the relationship
Well, I
going?
understand she was just sworn in, but she was, as you know, picked by Maduro. So Marco's working on that directly. Just had a conversation with her, and she's essentially willing to do what we think is necessary to make Venezuela great again. Very simple.
Make Venezuela great again.
Colombian President Gustavo Petro, a couple weeks ago, he said he's got to watch his ass. And today, he said he's not concerned about anything in the aftermath of this operation. So, just what your message is
Well,
about
he
that.
has cocaine mills. He has factories where he makes cocaine. And yeah, I think I stick by my first statement. He's making cocaine. They're sending it into the United States. So he does have to watch his ass.
Mr. President,
Did you notify any members of Congress in advance?
Marco, do you want to talk about that? Because you were involved.
Sure. We call members of Congress immediately after. This was not the kind of mission that you can do congressional notification on. It was a trigger-based mission in which conditions had to be met night after night. We watched and monitored that for a number of days. So it's just simply not the kind of mission you can call people and say, hey, we may do this at some point in the next 15 days. But it's largely a law enforcement function. Remember, at the end of the day, at its core, this was an arrest of 2 indicted fugitives of American justice. And the Department of War supported the Department of Justice in that job. Now, there are broader policy implications here, but it's just not the kind of mission that you can pre-notify because it endangers the mission.
Well, if I could add one thing to that, Congress has a tendency to leak. This would not be good. If they leaked, General, I think it would have been maybe a very different result. But I have to say, they knew we were coming at some point, A lot of ships out there, they sort of knew we were coming. We were. But Congress will leak, and we don't want leakers.
You don't want leakers.
To watch this all play out live. What was Maduro doing when
Oh my God.
would be his home? And also, was there any point where the U.S. was considering if Maduro pushed back or resisted killing Maduro?
It could have happened. It could have happened. He was trying to get into a safe place. The safe place is all steel. And he wasn't able to make it to the door because our guys were so fast. They went through the opposition so fast. And there was a lot of opposition. People were wondering, do we get them by surprise? Sort of surprised, but they were waiting for something. It was a lot of opposition. There was a lot of gunfire. You saw some of it today. But he was trying to get to a safe place, which wasn't safe because we would have had the door blown up in about 47 seconds, they say on average, regardless of how thick the steel was. It was a very thick door. It was a very heavy door, but he was unable to get to that door. He made it to the door. He was unable to close it.
Go
ahead, finish.
Where is Maduro going to be in the time being right now? Do you know his exact
Well,
whereabouts?
eventually, ultimately, in the near future, he's going to be brought to New York.
And where is he going to be held? Where is he going to be held in New York? Do you know?
That's going to be up to the officials.
Where Diddy is.
Mr. President, the U.S. has something of a mixed track record of ousting dictators without necessarily a plan for what comes afterwards.
Not with
Did
me,
that
then.
weigh on your decision?
Well, that's
making?
when we had different presidents, but with me, that's not true. With me, we've had a perfect track record of winning. We win a lot.
We win.
If you look at Soleimani, you look at al-Baghdadi, you look at the Midnight Hammer. Midnight Hammer was incredible.
We win.
Right now. You wouldn't have peace in the Middle East. We have essentially peace in the Middle East because of that. If we weren't successful with Midnight Hammer, you wouldn't have peace in the Middle East. So with me, you've had a lot of victory. You've had only victories. You've had no losses. Yeah.
Only victories. Yeah.
How long do you expect the U.S. to run Venezuela, and how
Oh,
soon
good
do you want
question.
Venezuelan people to hold elections?
So I'd like to do it quickly, but it takes a period of time. We're rebuilding. We have to rebuild their whole infrastructure. Their infrastructure is rotted. It's actually very dangerous. It's blow up territory. Oil is very dangerous. It's a very dangerous thing to take out of the ground.
He's
kill a
concerned
lot
for
of
yeah.
people. It has killed a lot of people doing just that. The infrastructure is old. It's rotted. Much of it is stuff that we put there 25 years ago, and we're going to be replacing it. And we're going to take a lot of money out so that we can take care of the country.
Are you saying that Secretary Rubio and
Mr. President, China, Russia, and Iran have interests in Venezuela. How does this operation affect your relationships with them when
Well,
it
in
comes to
terms
the
of
oil and
China
drugs?
and Russia, Russia when we get things straightened out. But in terms of other countries that want oil, we're in the oil business. We're going to sell it to them. We're not going to say we're not going to. In other words, we'll be selling oil, probably in much larger doses because they couldn't produce very much because their infrastructure was so bad. So we'll be selling large amounts of oil to other countries, many of whom are using it now, but I would say many more will come.
Are you saying that, Mr. President, are you saying that? Oh,
Mr. President, thank you. What is your message
said
to
not
the
you.
people of Venezuela today? Of course, the civilian population specifically, they have a lot of questions. What is your message to the people of
That
Venezuela?
you're going to have peace, justice. You're going to have some of the riches that you should have had for a long period of time. It was stolen from you. But you're going to have peace and you're going to have safety. You're going to have justice. You're going to have a country. You're going to have a real country. You're going to have potentially a great country. You know, if you go back 20 years, maybe even a little longer ago, that was a great country. And they destroyed it. Remember I said that if we lose this election, the United States will be Venezuela on steroids. That's what would have happened. Had we lost the election, 2024 election, we suffered so badly. When you look at the border from 2020, what they did, what Joe Biden administration did to our country should never be forgotten. But if we had to go through another year of that, we would be exactly where Venezuela was in terms I used to say, if they win, we're going to be Venezuela on steroids. And that's what would have happened.
President, thank you. Are you saying that Secretary Hegseth and Rubio are going to be running Venezuela, and will you be sending in U.S. military
They're going
troops
to be
to
a team
provide?
that's working with the people of Venezuela to make sure that we have Venezuela right. Because for us to just leave, who's going to take over? I mean, there is nobody to take over. You have a vice president who's been appointed by Maduro. And right now she's the vice president, and she's, I guess, the president. She was sworn in as president just a little while ago. She had a long conversation with Marco, and she said, we'll do whatever you need. I think she was quite gracious, but she really doesn't have a choice. We're going to have this done right. We're not going to just do this with Maduro, then leave like everybody else, leave and say, let it go to hell. If we just left, it has zero chance of ever coming back. We'll run it properly. We'll run it professionally. We'll have the greatest oil companies in the world going in and invest billions and billions of dollars and take out money, use that money in Venezuela. And the biggest beneficiary are going to be the people of Venezuela. And also, I can't stress this strongly enough, the people that got thrown out of Venezuela that are now in the United States. And frankly, some want to stay and some probably want to go back. Yeah.
Mr. President, what is being done to protect Americans in the country, and were any of the detained Americans
Well, right now they're
arrested
very
last night?
protected because nobody's going to mess with us. They're very protected. The people of, and we let them know that you better not touch one of them.
And are you concerned that bad elements of the Maduro regime will remain in place?
Well, we know who they are. We're on them, and they're acting much differently now than they would have acted 2 days ago.
And what do you
Okay,
say
wait,
about-
behind you, please.
Mr. President, why is running a country in South America America first?
Well, I think it is because we want to surround ourselves with good neighbors. We want to surround ourselves with stability. We want to surround ourselves with energy. We have tremendous energy in that country. It's very important that we protect it. We need that for ourselves. We need that for the world. And we want to make sure we can protect it. Yes, sir, please. Go ahead.
Is there a message here for Cuba and Diaz Canel?
Well, Cuba's an interesting case. Cuba is, not doing very well right now. That system has not been a very good one for Cuba. The people there have suffered for many, many years. And I think Cuba is going to be something we'll end up talking about because Cuba is a failing nation right now, very badly failing nation.
Oh, damn, what's wrong with
We
Cuba?
want to help the people. It's very similar in the sense that we want to help the people in Cuba, but we want to also help the people that were forced out of Cuba and living in this country. Do you want to say something about that, Marco, please?
Well, I mean, I just gave you a statement a few minutes ago about.
Marco said, leave me out of this mess. I got to acknowledge Lawrence. Thank you so much, honey. Thank you so much. I appreciate you as always. So generous. He said, Auntie, as a former Army service member of 17 years, respectfully, this was strategic military operations about the oil and DRUG corruption. Yes, there is heavy questioning in the chat and through social and mainstream. Trump is cleaning the corporation. Well, it looks like most of the military people that were here said that this was a good move. So I go with that. Y'all the ones that would have to go do it. So I go with y'all. So y'all said that the woman can't take over because she was appointed by this dude who I just pulled up his bio, which we'll take a look at as soon as they are done. Marco Rubio said, I'm trying to go home and go to sleep, child, because I'm over all this rambling.
The answer is yes.
Mr. President,
Yes.
is the U.S. aware of the location of opposition leader Machado, and have you been in contact with her?
No, we haven't. No, we haven't.
How many hesitations about Machado?
Mr. President, on Monday.
Oh, I think it would be very tough for her to be the leader. She doesn't have the support within or the respect within the country. She's a very nice woman, but she doesn't have the respect.
Mr.
President,
The U.S.
She's nice. That's nice.
Venezuela for years,
well, it won't cost us anything because the money coming out of the ground is very substantial. So it's not going to cost
So
us
the U.S.
anything.
isn't going to dedicate
We
any
will.
money to
Well, we want safety there. We want to be surrounded by countries that aren't housing all of our enemies all over the world. That's what was happening, and you don't want to have that. But we're going to be rebuilding, and we're not spending money. The oil companies are going to go in. They're going to spend money. We're going to take back the oil that, frankly, we should have taken back a long time ago. A lot of money is coming out of the ground. We're going to get reimbursed for all of that. We're going to get reimbursed for everything that we spend. So it's going to be a very important. This is a very big evening that took place last night. We have to be surrounded by safe, secure countries, and we also have to have energy. Very important. We have to have energy that's real energy, not where they're getting 4% and 5% of the energy out of the ground. You take a look. It was such a disaster. So what's going to happen with Venezuela, I think, over the next period of a year, is going to be a great thing, and the people of Venezuela will be the biggest beneficiaries.
Mr. President,
U.S. military.
Mr. President, thank you. What did you last speak to Maduro about when you spoke? And is the
Well,
US
I don't want to
at
get
war
into
with
the
Venezuela?
conversations, but I did have conversations with him, and I said, you got to surrender. And I actually thought he was pretty close to doing so, but now he wished he did, yeah.
Mr. President, can you explain? You said that Maduro is responsible for drug trafficking. You recently pardoned the former president of Honduras, who was convicted of many drug trafficking. Can you explain how these two situations are different? And would you ever pardon Maduro?
I endorsed, as you know, the winning president, the man who won in Honduras. I endorsed the man who won in Chile. I endorsed the man who won in Argentina. And we are doing very well with that whole group. What the man that I pardoned was, if you could equate it to us, he was treated like the Biden administration treated a man named Trump. That didn't work out too well for them. This was a man who was persecuted very unfairly. He was the head of the country. He was persecuted very unfairly. And there are a number of them. And we felt that it was a very unfair situation that happened to him. He's also a party member of the man who won. So obviously the people liked what I did. And one of the reasons that was done is because of the fact that the party in power felt very strongly that that man was treated very badly. I studied it very quickly, and then I studied it in great detail. I went to a lot of the people standing behind me, and they felt that that man was persecuted and treated very badly. That's why I gave him a pardon.
Mr. President, you referenced boots on the ground earlier. Can you just sort of button this up? Do you envision the U.S. military having a presence in Venezuela as the U.S. runs that
Well,
country?
no, we're going to have a presence in Venezuela as it pertains to oil because we have to have, we're sending our expertise in. So you may need something, not very much. But no, we're going to be taking out a tremendous amount of wealth out of the ground. And that wealth is going to the people of Venezuela and
Wealth out of
people
the
from
ground.
outside of Venezuela that used to be in Venezuela. And it goes also to the United States of America in the form of reimbursement for the damages caused us by that country. So I want to thank you all very much. Thank you. Do you have one? Yes, please. You were so nice before. I'm going to give you the final question. Go
Thank
ahead.
you, Mr.
Unless it's a
President.
bad question, in
It's
which
about
case I'll
Putin.
go one.
Medium.
It's about Putin. If you want.
About Putin. Well,
Okay.
that's always nice.
You had a phone.
About Putin.
You had a phone call with him
Yeah.
on Monday. Did he talk at all about Maduro? Did y'all talk about this?
No, we didn't.
And
We
then-
never spoke about Maduro.
Are you mad at him right now? I mean, there's this
I'm not
intelligence.
thrilled with Putin. I'm not thrilled with Putin.
Mm.
He's killing too many people.
There was that
I
intelligence.
thought that would be so. I settled 8 1/4 war. You know what the 1/4 was? Thailand and Cambodia. I did it again. They broke out, and I did it in about 5 hours, and I settled it. I'm giving myself 1/4, so I'm up to now 8 1/4. In other words, I settled the war, but then they broke out. They had a pretty bad breakout over the last 4 days. I got them to go back to peace. So I only give 1/4. I thought the easiest one would be, one of the easier ones would be Russia, Ukraine. It's not. And they both have done some pretty bad things. And look, that's Biden's war. That's not my war. But I want to stop the lives. Did you see where last month, 30,000, it was 27,000 the month before. 30,000, mostly soldiers, were killed this last month. 30,000. I want to stop that. You know, I got NATO to pay 5% instead of the 2% that they weren't paying. They weren't paying 2, now they pay 5. And we send them a lot of munitions. We send them a lot of things, missiles and various other things, a lot. And they pay. The United States is not losing money. We're probably making money on that. It's the last thing I care about. I just want to stop all those people. We're losing 25, 30,000 human beings that come from 2 places that are very far away. But if I can stop, because it's something I've been pretty good at doing, deals, I guess. It's all a deal. Life is a big deal. But if I can stop that war and stop 30,000 young people, in addition to the fact that people are being killed in Kiev, people are being killed in other cities throughout, a much smaller number, but they're being killed, viciously killed. So I'm not happy about it. I thought that would be something that would get solved. We have Mr. Witkoff here. I think that we're making progress, but that's a war that should have never happened. If I were president, it would have never happened. Putin says it. Everybody says it. If I were president, that would have never happened. But I inherited that war. That was Joe Biden, Zelensky, and Putin. I came into the situation, and it's a mess. And I will say this. I watched an operation last night that was so precise, that was so brilliant. I mean, it was incredible. If we had our people, like this general and our people involved, that war would not have gone on very long, that I can tell you. That war, to use an old term, that war has become a bloodbath, and we want it to get stopped. Thank you very much.
Are you concerned a rogue Venezuelan general to take over the country?
Can you talk about your conversation?
This is amazing.
Okay. Lord help your people. That couldn't have come quick enough. He's so damn remedial. So while a lot of the military people in here are saying that this was good, obviously a lot of people don't think that it's good, right? Remember when everybody was saying, I don't know if you was listening, and maybe some of y'all were saying that this daycare thing, Minnesota daycare thing, was a distraction. What is it a distraction for? Do you think it was a distraction about this? Is this the reason why? Maybe, allegedly. Lauren said Trump is right about cleaning up Biden, Harris, Zelensky, BS. Biden and Hunter made millions off Ukraine and both sides got rich off of it. we talked about Hunter a second ago. I was actually talking to somebody a little while ago, and they had said in our chat GPT that, but of course people will say that now you can't depend on chat GPT, right? And I asked it, is the invasion of Venezuela legal? All right. So this is fact-based answer to the question, Trump's invasion of Venezuela, because child, they got up-to-date information. So as of January the 3rd, the United States under President Trump has launched a large-scale military strike in Venezuela, reportedly capturing Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro and planning to run, quote unquote, run the country temporarily. So did somebody ask him how long he gonna have to do this? This is an unprecedented direct military action by the U.S. against another sovereign state. For international law purposes, it says under global law, primarily the United Nations Charter, use of force by one state against another sovereign state is generally prohibited unless in self-defense against an imminent armed attack or if the UN Security Council authorizes force. I don't think we got none of that. Experts and legal scholars are saying the Venezuelan action violates the UN Charter because there was no imminent attack on the U.S., and there is no UN Security Council authorization. So basically the opposite of what we just read. Many legal authorities have called the U.S. actions a crime of aggression, an unprecedented in modern international law. So under international law, the invasion is widely viewed as illegal. Oh, no. All right, so U.S. constitutional and domestic law, because I see some people are like, oh, as long as the people in Venezuela are happy. I don't know that really matters, child. In the U.S., the Constitution gives Congress the exclusive power to declare war. Presidents can use military force without a formal declaration only in limited circumstances. For example, to repel an imminent attack, probably like 9/11, right? The War Powers Resolution also lays out limits for entering hostilities, requiring Congress to authorize extended military action beyond about 60 days. According to reporting, Congress did not authorize the recent Venezuela strikes or invasions. The Trump administration appears to justify the action under a broad interpretation of presidential powers. For example, commander-in-chief authority or counter-narcotics operations. Oh, okay, counter-narcotics, maybe he got it there, right? But it has not publicly detailed a clear legal basis. And some senators have questioned the constitutional authority for this escalation. Under U.S. domestic law, the legality is highly contested. So I don't know what y'all think about that. Tyra? I think this is Tyra Richburg. We are not part of the UN, and Venezuela gangs are a threat to us, and so are the drugs pouring in. Well, somebody earlier said the drugs only come from Mexico. Well, I don't know, child, because it looked like they was taking out some ships in the middle of the ocean, which is why when somebody else said that there was no casualties, I'm pretty sure there was people on there, but you know, whatever. Global reactions. World leaders and international bodies are criticizing the U.S. action as contrary to international law and the UN Charter, a dangerous precedent that undermines global norms, a violation of Venezuelan sovereignty. Many governments, Canada, Brazil, and EU nations are urging respect for international law and peaceful solutions. Bullying. Bottom line, no clear legal justification exists under either international law because there's no self-defense or UN mandate and force against another sovereign state is prohibited, and US law because Congress did not specifically authorize the military operation. Most legal experts interpret the invasion as illegal, both internationally and constitutionally, even if the administration claims other legal grounds. This is a major legal and geopolitical controversy that will continue to be debated. All right.
This is amazing.
I'm just saying. I think they're right. Chris said we haven't declared a war properly since World War II. Ms. AB, thank you so much, hon. She said, just say no to drugs. Drugs are bad. Drugs bad. All right, Meat Man. We're not talking about anything else except for what's going on here. See, stop that, y'all. Just talk about what we're talking about today. Stop going on back into history because you could always go in for anything, right? So let me go ahead because I pulled up also who the hell Nicholas is, right? The 3 a.m. Somebody said that earlier. That I think it might have been legend. That was the only place that drugs come from is Mexico. Child, we might as well say the word. All right. So who is Nicolas Maduro? Nicolas Maduro is a Venezuelan politician who has been one of the most controversial leaders in recent Latin American history. He was born in 1962 in Caracas into a working class family, worked as a bus driver. Oh, so he was normal in the beginning, yeah? Okay. Which helped launch his political career. He rose through politics as close ally of Hugo Chavez. That name sounds familiar. Serving as foreign minister, president of the National Assembly, and vice president under Chavez. After Chavez's death in 2013, Maduro became president of Venezuela, narrowly winning the election held that year. So did he win the election or did he bogart? I thought y'all say he bogarted. His presidency, Maduro led Venezuela during a period of severe economic collapse, hyperinflation, shortages of basic goods, and mass immigration. Child, is that what we're going through right now? Ain't that what we're going through right now? His government has been widely accused of electoral fraud. Oh, no. Undermining democracy, crackdowns on opposition, and human rights abuses during protests and political conflicts. Sound like the United States a little bit, yeah? Many countries and international observers declared his 2018 and 2024 elections illegitimate, and his continued rule was heavily contested both inside and outside of Venezuela. Mark says it's that all presidents have used the military without Congress. All right, boo. He stuffed ballots.
This is amazing.
He stuffed ballots like Biden, allegedly. Thank you, boo. She said Anna Novato been crying and complaining about him. Who's Anna Novato? The girl from The View? Is that who you're talking about? All right. We don't listen to them over there. Blah, 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 blah. International conflict and recent events 2026. The U.S. accused Maduro of involvement in drug trafficking and narco-terrorism, indicting him on those charges and offering large rewards for his arrest. Oh, well, if he was indicted, right? They was looking for him. Don't that make it legal? So you was indicted. You need to bring your ass so we can take you to trial. Is that the loophole? On January 3rd, U.S. forces reportedly captured and removed him from power in a dramatic operation, a move that sparked global reaction and marks a major shift in Venezuela's political system. In short, Nicolas Maduro is a longtime Venezuelan leader whose tenure as president was marked by economic crisis, political repression, U.S. confrontation, and as of early 2026, his dramatic ouster and detention by U.S. forces. So there you go. That's who the hell he is, which y'all might have known. I did not. The United States is going to be running Venezuela. So Anna Navarro, yep, she crying because that drug money she no longer getting. She's crying, so she should be happy on Monday, right? Shouldn't they be happy? They wanted them to be free. Look at all the happy people. Let me see. I had another video. All the happy people. It was like watching, listening to R. Kelly, Happy People song, child. They're having a celebration, child. Look at this picture. They got a picture of him.
A este compatriota, pueblo, el que quiera hablar puede venir acá a esta tribuna abierta, tribuna antiimperialista.
We need somebody to interpret, though.
Muy buenas tardes. Mi nombre es Atahualpa Díaz. No crean que por el nombre soy extranjero, soy criollito. Solo que cuando nací a mi papá le gustaba mucho leer y le gustó ese nombre. Atahualpa Díaz. Tengo 48 años. Biólogo marino, trabajo para el área de pesca en este gobierno. Mire, compañero. Comandante Chávez me dejó unas herramientas muy valiosas para situaciones incluso.
I'm trying to see if there's anything else. I don't think there's anything else new or updated or anything. So that's about it, child. We run in Venezuela. That's what it is. All right. So if you don't know, now you know. Trying to see. I don't think that there's anything new on it, honestly. I mean, what else can there be? He said what he said. You don't know where Maduro and his wife are. They're coming to New York. They don't know where they're going to stay once they get there. Maybe in the same jail as Diddy, child. Who knows? The infrastructure sucks, according to Trump, and he's going to fix all that because they didn't want all this coming into the United States, allegedly. And allegedly, maybe that was a distraction with all this daycare stuff. Allegedly. Let me see, child. It's been almost 2 hours. Ain't no way I'm able to go through all this stuff with the daycare stuff. Ain't no way. Who was expecting this today? I was not expecting this today. But what's done is done. Let me see what I can give y'all before I get the hell on up out of here, child, real quick, because I have to come back and maybe do this childcare tomorrow. There's always something, child. Let me see my watch later. Venezuelans continue to celebrate. Blah, 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 blah. Oh, let's look at this. Shit. Shout out to liberal white women. Minnesota. Oh, hold on. Minnesota mom charged with stealing $110,000 from her daughter's softball association. Crime is down.
She was trusted to handle the finances of the Plymouth Wyzetta Youth Softball Association, but now Kristen Williams is charged with doing the exact opposite. Hennepin County court documents reveal from August 2020 to February 2025, Williams stole $110,000 from the association while serving as its treasurer. The now 52-year-old took on the role in June of 2020 and was responsible for all accounting, bookkeeping, and web-based transactions. She was also the only one with access to the association's online bank account. This Facebook post in August 2020 welcoming Williams as treasurer says she then had 2 daughters playing for the association. It goes on to say, quote, Kristen has worked in finance for over 15 years. She has a passion for sports and girls' sports in particular and brings a great perspective to the board in 2 areas she has a lot of experience: finance and softball. The criminal complaint goes on to say that in September 2024, the association was notified by the IRS that it had not filed taxes for 3 years. This, along with Williams failing to pay some vendors and coaches, ultimately led to her removal in early 2025. Court documents say once Williams was removed, the league president reviewed bank account statements and noticed numerous ATM withdrawals that were not approved by the board, including at local casinos. The criminal complaint says Williams appeared to conceal her thefts by fraudulently reducing deposit amounts or hiding the stolen money within other payment classifications, such as clinic expenses or equipment.
I reached out to Williams today for a response, but did not hear back. The association's board members declined to comment, but they did send me an email.
Joe, why he got a kazoo head? Is he white? Is there such thing as a white Somalian? Is that what he is? Because his head certainly do look kazooish.
That was sent to players' families. It says that the association is fully cooperating with officials and looks forward to the legal process resolving the matter. Jennifer.
Okay, so you didn't hear from some board members, but you talked to some parents, right?
Yeah, I called at least a dozen families on the phone. All of them did refuse an interview for various reasons, but some did share with me just how upset they are about the situation, as you can imagine, Jennifer.
I can imagine. Yeah, thanks for...
Yeah, that's as loud as it gets, and you might be behind on the stream, but is what you hear is what it is. I always turn it up, okay? But shout out to that white woman who's probably liberal. But y'all remember the picture of Jamal Bryant, child? The picture of his wife, I should say. Oh, I didn't know it was. Hold on, let me change it, child. Sorry, y'all. It looks like Jamal had something to say to respond, right? So shout out to the biblical conservative because he's covering this. It says Jamal Bryant defending his wife's dress proves he's a black culture pastor. That's what Sean is saying. Sean Crenshaw from the biblical conservative.
You uncomfortable reading it out loud? Come on. With all of the enthusiasm, all of the vim.
Look, filled to the rim, yeah. Church is filled to the rim, yeah.
And the vigor that you can muster tonight. Come on, let's shout it out loud together. He is dressed. Amen. You may be seated in the presence of the Lord. He's dressed in a robe dipped in blood, and his name is the Word of God. I want to preach tonight using as a subject, and y'all are mad about a dress.
Don't you love when they're like, y'all are mad about a dress? I promise you, sir, no one is mad at all. I don't think that the word is mad. People like to use that word a lot. I would just think that it's inappropriate for a first lady. I think it's inappropriate for someone who's not advertising, but maybe she's advertising. So that's what makes it okay, child. Goodbye, 3 a.m. Oh, him. I thought you meant me. I thought you meant me. I was about to say, because somebody was talking about this jacket in one of the comments. Yes, this is what it's supposed to look like. It's a barely there. There's nothing here. Nothing. But anyway, come on, child.
Now, y'all know I've made plenty of videos about Jamal Bryant. And this one about his wife's dress that she wore to that event, I wasn't going to cover it because Jamal Bryant doesn't do anything that is surprising to me. A man that talks about how for a certain percentage of his life that Jesus was a failure.
That 85% of Jesus's life, he was out of order.
Oh, he ain't getting no claps on that one?
85% of his life, he was doing what he was not called to do.
And we need Jamal Bryant to talk about what the Lord should be. I cannot. Ms. AB says the highest donation gets to go on a date with her. Nothing surprises me at this point, child. Nothing surprises me. Thank you, Kofa. He said tonight's topic is my wife ain't no 304, Jamal Bryant. I'm not going to talk about that lady, like her personally, because I don't know her from a can of paint. But this nigga, I'll definitely talk about. And this is crazy. But he'll justify anything. And you see that the church is filled to capacity. This is all right here. But the church, because he just spoke about this past Sunday, filled to capacity. They don't give a damn. They don't give one damn. They're going to just continuously follow people. Cultish behavior. And somebody is supposed to be able to help the community? How? When they allow something like this and be like, oh, it's okay. Fine. Let it be okay.
God, y'all done got quiet. For 85% of his life, he was not flowing in his God-given function.
Yo, is that the man that died?
85.
Yo, is that the man that died with Eddie Long? Is that who that is? He look familiar. Who's this dude right here? He looking familiar. He like, child,
85% of his life, he is doing what his natural father wanted. But it did not line up with his divine DNA.
It's amazing.
85% of his life,
Oh,
he's anointed.
Okay, yeah, that is that.
He's called, he's chosen, and he's wrong.
A man that has all kinds of things in his personal life that disqualify him from being a pastor. A man that...
Things that they completely can absolve and not look at and don't care about, right? Like I said, y'all already know, allegedly an illegitimate child, allegedly cheating on the wife, but people want to go ahead and listen to him and follow him for stock advice. Cool. Shout out to y'all, as long as it all works out for you. So it did look like Marvin Sapp. Thank y'all. I appreciate you. My fave said, homo crying out of pocket. Jesus don't know you. Blasphemy over here with this man. He can just say anything and black people just gonna go along with it, child. This is crazy. This is half damn crazy. Shout out to Ms. AB. Appreciate you. She said hypocrite and using God's name as a cover. Shaking my head. That's absolutely what's going on. But they all good with it. That church looks like it was more people in it that Sunday than it was than any other Sunday we've watched him preach.
Is a member of the Black Greek letter fraternities, and his allegiance is to them more than to the kingdom of God. A man who has done a number of things, a man that said he wanted to grow weed at New Birth to bring in more men, a man that has sat down with an LGBTQ flaming hot pastor in Atlanta, sat down and preached at his church, a man that has people in his pulpit that have been shady, to say the least, that has been there to manipulate people out of their money. I mean, I can go on and on and on about Jamal Bryant. There's nothing that Jamal Bryant does that is surprising to me. So I'm not surprised that Jamal Bryant doubled down on the dress that his wife wore, and he encouraged it and supported it. But I'm gonna speak.
I think me personally, and I'm not just whatever Sean says, I'm sure, it's fine. But he wants people to have more of a reason to look at him. If he's trying to get weed into the church in order to raise money, well, then why not show off his beautiful wife? What happened to modesty? I guess that's not a thing anymore. So you gonna do anything that you can in order to get congregants in, I guess more money, produces more money. This is all allegedly. But I really can't see any reason for a man, just any man, not even a preacher pastor, just as a man. Now, all of y'all, if it's not like Halloween, seriously, if it's not Halloween, you can have some risque stuff, right? And you're not going to a sex party, okay? Would you allow your wife, not your girl, not you talking to her sometimes, your wife to go out? Especially when you are a prominent member of the community in an outfit like that. Even though he's going to justify it, because I have heard him, what he had to say on this, but I'm going to let this play. Even though he's trying to justify it, right? It is what it looks like. You couldn't find anything with all the money that they have. They couldn't find anything else. Exactly. And that's what I'm saying. I know ain't nobody going to allow me to come out the house like that. You can be cute without looking hoish, because that is the equivalent to what is her name? Dr. Bryant, I forget her first name. Dr. Bryant did, but she looked bad. She didn't look bad. Body is banging and the dress was nice looking, and that's fine. But she is a first lady of a church. She is the first lady of a church. Prewood said no also. I'm just saying. Mark Cooper said, you ain't gonna tell me what to wear? Yes. He's supporting it. We don't even know how she feels about it, which obviously she wore it, so she must be all good in the hood. Whatever we can do to get them donations, allegedly, we'll get them men to be looking at you twice, child.
That his wife was wearing.
Because there's a double standard in church when it relates to women, and it's abysmal hypocrisy. You got
a double standard in church when it comes to women,
out of shape preachers.
Oh, so she's in shape. So he was, am I kind of right? Was I kind of right? Did you hear what he said? Because y'all out of shape. We see she in shape, child. But do we have to know and see it all? You know what I mean? Am I right? I'm gonna let y'all decide if I was right again. But let me dial it back so you can hear him again, child.
When it relates to women, and it's abysmal hypocrisy. You got out of shape preachers who rail on modesty, but have never preached a sermon on obesity and gluttony.
I'm just hearing my wife look good and y'all just jealous, and I want y'all to see what she look like because you jealous, and this is what I got when I go home. That's me. Allegedly.
Our misogyny has become institutionalized.
Oh, MSG, K. Y'all gotta take this. It's MSG, child. This is MSG. How dare y'all talk about my wife when she look good and you out of shape, you obese, you fat biatch? My wife look good. I want everybody to know what I go home to at night. I don't care. Anybody that says anything that's MSG. Child, she wasn't dressing like that for me. Who was she dressed like that for? I'm right yet again. Who was she dressed like that for? For you sassy straights to look at her. So you want people to be looking at your wife like that, Pastor? Pastor, you want people to be eyeing and ogling your wife like that? Child, he will make an excuse for any damn thing. And the amounts of people that will listen to this ninja is ridiculous. But child, it's the same people that listen to Rolly, child. But go ahead, Jamal.
and cloaked under spirituality. Today, if a man falls out at the altar, you will let him lay there. But if a woman lays out at the altar, you'll pull out more sheets than Bed Bath and Beyond. In the black church tradition, in case you did not know, in the church that you were raised in the black church that you were raised in, ushers coming down the aisle had to put their hand behind their back. That was, in fact, instituted for female ushers so that men who were sitting on the aisle would not be attracted to look at their derriere.
I don't know that that's true, because in the church that I grew up in, where my grandmother took me every Sunday, everybody who bopped down that aisle, shout out to y'all that know, had to have one hand behind their back, and the men did it too. Now, I don't know, maybe my church was different, my hometown church that still stands today, but they all had to do it if they was bouncing down the daggone aisle, all of them. Now, I don't know the reason, but this ain't the reason, because if that's the reason, then why did the men do it too? He's full of shit. He's full of shit. And people sitting up there, Negroes, y'all, listen, and her too. Justify any of this foolishness. Can't imagine why the community has all the problems that the community has when you have people like him saying that this is okay and trying to justify this shit. This is your wife, sir. We would expect you to set a better example. Aren't you supposed to set the example? But then again, you out here allegedly having affairs previously, getting that fame. You know he had fame before. I don't know what the hell he doing in Atlanta, right? But he had fame before because he was on the Housewives of Potomac, I think y'all said. And then that's when they started going through their problems because he allegedly was messing around. This is a pastor. And then I think there was maybe a kid, allegedly. But that was a big deal on that show because of and I remember hearing it, but I didn't watch that show because they was talking about a pastor that was fill in the blank, all that was going on. So he had notoriety then. So he's like, well, I'm going to have to do what I got to do to keep that notoriety because that lady divorced him. So now let's come on down here, take over this big church that already had controversy from Eddie Long, I think y'all said his name is, who allegedly was a lowmaster, allegedly. He gonna take it over and then start telling y'all that you need to sell your Target stock. He got to do something to get big up because y'all probably knew him in Atlanta, but nobody was thinking about no damn Jamal Bryant on a national level. Now he's got the national spotlight. He on the news, he on shows, talking about DEI. He done found his niche. He might, if he opened up a YouTube channel besides the church, it would not surprise me.
Man falls out at the altar, you will let him lay there. But if a woman lays out at the altar, you'll pull out more sheets than Bed Bath and Beyond.
When was a man ever laying out at the altar, Bueller? What is he talking about? When do men go to church with weenie benders on, we shall call it? When do men go to church with, those mesh outfits like Turbo used to wear and, Breaking? Where you could see his chest. Is that what we're talking about? What are we talking about? When did men go to church dressed inappropriately? I'm confused because I ain't never seen one. Jeans, once they started allowing people to wear jeans in the church, come as you are, that was that justification. Fine. But they wasn't coming no kind of way that I have ever seen, even outside of that particular church, any church I've ever been to. Have never looked inappropriate with their dress. So I don't know what he's talking about. He's full of it. Shout out to my fave. He said Jamal thinks about Cam legs when he... Goodbye, sir. Come on, child.
In the black church tradition, in case you did not know, in the church that you were raised in the black church that you were raised in, ushers coming down the aisle had to put their hand behind their back. That was, in fact, instituted for female ushers so that men who were sitting on the aisle would not be attracted to look at their derriere. So
I call bullshit on that. I call complete and utter bullshit on that. Because what is putting your hand behind your back because you're going to put it in the small of your back is what they did. That ain't going to stop nobody from looking at nothing. And no tea, no shade against the elders in the church. But wasn't many people looking at them. I'm not trying to be rude, y'all, but tell the truth, shame the devil. Not many people was looking at them. First of all, most of them were married. Not that that stops you from looking at anyone, okay? Most of them were married. There wasn't no young people up in church, so most of them were elderly. So who the hell was looking at them? Who, Jamal? You're full of it. You're lying. I don't believe that for 1 second. Never, ever, no way. And not to mention, like I said, men had to do the same damn thing.
They had to put their hand behind their back to block the eyes of nasty deacons who couldn't keep focus on the cross. We have placed the full responsibility of warding off temptation on women.
So he's blaming you sassy straights, basically, at the end of the day. Because y'all can't control yourselves. You can't control your eyes. And because you some nasty MFers always looking, always being, what is it? Lascivious? Is that the word? Lascivious? This is amazing. It's y'all's fault because you shouldn't be looking at her at all. Well, I'm looking at her. I'm saying it's inappropriate. So what you going to call me? Because it's inappropriate. I don't need to see her skin or her body. I don't need to see almost to her crotch. Even if it's an illusion, it's inappropriate. I don't care what this nigga say. This nigga will justify a roach, and all these amounts of people that will listen to this man is the crazy part. How come black people can find it so easy to listen to people who don't want to do anything for you, but when somebody who actually does, they can't hear it for shit. They can't hear it for shit. Thank you so much, Kofa. He said, again, let the wrong man have tried to holler at his wife or any woman in church dressed like that. People would have said it wasn't the right place. It still would have been blamed on y'all. Y'all will be blamed regardless, okay? It doesn't matter. You would still be, if somebody hollered at her, you would be blamed, not her. If somebody, God forbid, did something inappropriate, that would be y'all's fault, which it would be your fault, for real, honestly, of course. However, we have to start playing a role in what it is that we have to do in order to not get ourselves in those situations. Now, because she was with her husband, fine. The issue, the biggest issue here, though, is you are a freaking man of God, allegedly, and your wife is your better half. But all that gets thrown out of the window because everybody want to do what they want to do. All right, y'all. Go on. Keep justifying it, Nick.
Outputting a demand of sexual discipline on men.
I just stop it right there. This dude has turned his sermon. First of all, he is eisegeting, reading into the passage and picking and choosing to support and buttress his sermon.
Exactly.
But this dude just turned the situation of his wife wearing a dress. She's supposed to represent him, modesty as a quote unquote first lady,
She does represent him. She does represent him very well, because this is exactly who this person is. I said that, I meant that. There's no way, especially for black pastors and preachers, that they should be justifying this. Nothing, no way, no how. And if y'all haven't seen it, just look it up, because it honestly was more see-through than Cheyenne Bryant. And what makes it worse is because she's the first lady of this church. And the fact that all these women coming up here, and then you're going to try to put it off on obesity? What? So it's obesity in the community. It's sassy straights in the community, but it's not him who's leading said community. And these people will still follow his ass. There's no hope for colors. I said it. I meant it. Did I say all? I didn't. But there's no hope. Because anything that's of a sexual nature, and then as soon as someone says, we're over-sexualized, they'll be offended by the truth.
Pastor, she's supposed to demonstrate that. She's supposed to demonstrate that to younger women. How is she going to be able to tell younger women what to wear when she's going out looking like the way she was looking?
Right.
How is she? The Bible says in one of my favorite verses, 1 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 12, all things are lawful to me, but not all things are permissible. All things are lawful to me, but I will not be put under the power of anything. It also talks about in Hebrews how let's lay aside every weight and sin that so easily besets us. Now, was it a sin that she wore that dress? No, but it's a weight. You're putting a weight on other people because now other women are going to be wanting to wear those things. So now that weight has been put upon men. Because if they can say at New Birth that their pastor allowed his wife to wear this dress, what about the women in that church? What are they going to do to their men if there are any married men in that church?
Yeah, they'll be like, oh, well, Pastor Jamal said it was okay, so then I can do it too. Now, of course, that's childish. Of course, that would be childish, and any grown woman that would do that is an idiot. You probably don't need to be married to it anyway, if that's not how you've been. But is that the only way that y'all can garner attention? And why does the First Lady need attention? Why? Especially attention like this? Why? Thank you, Ms. AB. She said, I'm not black as per Biden. That's true. My bad. That's true. But yeah, so of course he's going to justify it. And you can't say nothing to him, but he can say everything in the world to you. You should be following this man, people in Atlanta. I would never. And I know my pastor and Bishop Wooden would never do this.
But nah, Jamal Bryant wants to blame men in this situation.
Mm-hmm.
That's so disgusting.
I needed to deal with it head on because the other day the internet went crazy about a dress my wife had on. Now, they didn't say anything about the $4 million that was raised for the United Negro College Fund. They never mentioned.
Oh, so deflect, sir. Deflect, sir. You don't know that no one had anything to say about it. But this took away from that because I didn't even know that that's what this was about. All I see is a pastor's wife half naked on the red carpet next to a nigga that I already can't stand and don't like, who's sitting up here telling black people to sell stock and not to buy anything from corporations because of DEI, of which the black girl over on Tickety Damn Talk in her fit of rage and her TDS admitted that DEI benefits white women the most. So why you Negroes fighting for it? Anyway, let me see if I can find a picture because it sounds like y'all might not know. Oh, hold on. Let me see if I can find a picture of this dress. Hold on a second. For y'all that didn't see it. This butterfly dress right here. You see it? I don't know how well you can see it. It's an illusion dress made to look like skin. It's still inappropriate. Because now they want to justify it. All these ways to justify it, right? It's a skin looking dress. Okay. Justify it all you want to. This is the attention that these people need that bad. Let me see if I can get a better. Well, listen, this is as good as it gets. It's a nice dress. It definitely is a nice dress, and she got a nice body. But it's inappropriate. If you don't want to be of the church, then get out the church. If you don't want to be of the church, then get out the church. Everybody makes mistakes. I don't want to hear all that bullshit about nobody's perfect. Kiss my ass with that, okay? Let's talk like we got some sense. Not y'all, you know what I'm saying. It's inappropriate. He's looking for attention. I put this all on him. She just going along with it. You know, they just got married. She got her keys to the kingdom. You know what I'm saying now at this point. And he needs to make sure that his name stay out there. And then there's a way to continue to blame you, sassy straights, too. Child, you can't make it up. Let me see. Hold on. I don't know. That's probably the best picture, the best close up that we can get, honestly. It's an illusion, y'all. It's an illusion. Anyway, anything goes in the community. Can't imagine why there's so many issues. I cannot imagine.
That she prayed until heaven came down. They never said anything about this was the largest fundraiser for HBCUs in the country. But insecure, jealous, petty, small-minded.
Insecure, jealous, petty, and small-minded. Throw out is that sign language? Science, insults, guilt, and the need to be right. What is it? I forget what the S is. So is that not what that is? Shame, insults, guilt, and the need to be right. We already know that Jamal thinks he's right about everything. He never is wrong about anything, and everyone should just listen to them. And all these colors up in here at capacity at this church will listen to him hook, line, and sinker. Very cultish, if you ask me. A lot of cultism going on around here.
About this was the largest fundraiser for for HBCUs in the country. But insecure, jealous, petty, small-minded people got in their feelings and set up a false barometer of holiness based off of a dress. Now, you got to help some people because some people have embraced the full knowledge of ignorance without any assistance for understanding. The dress was not see-through. The dress was flesh color. But because you ain't never been nowhere and ain't never been exposed to nothing.
Oh, the insults. More insults. You ain't never been nowhere. I've been plenty of places and no one had to dress like a whore. Let's go ahead and just say what it is. So if you got to come out here and explain that that's whatever he said, a skin dress, whatever the fuck, so it makes it look like it's her skin, you needed some attention, Jamal. Because if this wasn't an issue, why y'all here explaining it? Attention. He need to be seen. He need y'all to look at his wife, which means y'all will look at her, and then he can insult y'all. And these people in this daggone audience, I know there's people in there that found a problem with that dress. And any elder in here, a baby boomer that thought that this was okay, they can go to hell too. I said that, I meant that. No standard whatsoever. It's just because fucking Jamal Bryant said it, a fucking adulterer. Y'all real. Anyway.
Furthermore, I needed to set the record straight. Y'all don't like this. I need to set the record straight. I bought the dress. And I like it. I don't care whether you like it or not. She ain't mad to y'all. She mad to me. Now, if you wanted a first lady that looked like Little House on the Prairie and Holly Hobby, you got the wrong church. I wanted a wife I would rush home to, that I wanted to be excited to see. When we walked in there, I said, shake it fast, watch yourself. If you don't have nobody that you excited about, trade that booger in and find you somebody that Negroes can talk about. How did you bag that?
I know how you bag that.
How did you bag that? Trade your wife in for someone that someone else would be looking at, basically. And I don't have my headpiece in, so hopefully you heard that. This is your pastor. And let me take it back, because I look at all these people carrying on and cheering this shit on. And child, color's gonna color. Like it, love it. I don't care. Get offended. I don't care. This is madly crazy and inappropriate. And the fact that all these people follow this man blindly, yeah, I'll continue to be a loner, because many of people cannot be trusted, and I ain't got time. Why does my significant other need to know that everybody else thinks great of me? Why? You don't need that. It's about what you think. So now Passport Bros allegedly will come out, because they on my nerves right now. Not all. They on my nerves right now. Will come out and say, yeah, Pastor, that's right. Trade her in for a younger one. So does that mean that Jamal is encouraging divorce? So that you can get a younger one, so that you can have her out here dressed like she got a skinless dress on, whatever it's called. And everybody can ogle at her. So in one breath, you gentlemen shouldn't be looking at her. And in the next breath, he got somebody that people will look at. So which one is it, Pastor? Sound like you're talking out of both sides of your fucking mouth. Allegedly, that's what I'm hearing. Now you out here talking about shake it fast, watch yourself. And y'all listening to this. Not y'all, you know what I'm saying. Thank you, boo. He said the black church at it again, and black women again throwing support, and y'all think black men about to stop traveling anytime soon. Passport Bro fuel. Now, there's plenty of men in this church. I see plenty of men in this church. So as soon as one of them go and be ogling her, I wonder what Jamal gonna be thinking. That's mine right there. That sounds of the street to me. That sounds of the world to me. It don't sound very pastorly to me. You want people to ogle your wife. I don't have a problem with someone having a beautiful wife or anything like that, child. And people will look at your wife when she's a good looking woman. Absolutely. But it's just different when you got basically a see-through.
This is amazing.
When you got a see-through outfit on. I don't care what he say. And then he bragging about, I bought that. He's bragging. He is low-key bragging. I think this man don't care for men.
This is amazing.
I really think that this man has an issue with men, not because he likes them or anything like that. Meaning in a sexual way or anything like that. I don't think that. I just think that he is doing a kind of a Dr. Umar sometimes, where he got to placate to the women and sit up here and come at the men.
This is amazing.
But not too much, because he does have a lot of men in here. And of course, the people that are supporting him are men. If you look at the crowd, there's definitely more women than men, but there's still a significant amount of men in here. So let me insult them a little bit to get the women happy and keep coming in here. And I'm going to let them know that they can dress however they want and no man going to tell them what to do. You don't need to be doing what the men tell you to do. That's what I'm hearing. So God forbid, and if/when Jamal out here looking a little long at somebody else like he allegedly did in his last marriage, I don't want to hear it from his wife. I don't want to hear it from his wife because you all, yeah, baby. That's what she's saying. She got to come up there and then we co-signing it to the Lord, because that's what this means, white people. When you're doing this, that means you co-sign it to the Lord. It's basically saying, amen, praise the Lord. That's what this means. So we think that the Lord is saying this is okay? Take me to the king. Okay. Half damn crazy. Thank you, boo. Shout out to Miss AB. She said, talk about a hit dog hollering guilty as charged. Thank you so much, boo. Thank you, Hiram. He says serpent tactics. How about that, right? And these people just co-signing it. This whole congregation co-signing it. That's wild, as people say. Saint Fan in the building. I appreciate you, boo. He said, this is the same food that got run out of Baltimore. Yeah, we did see that. Shaking my head. I know too many people, all women, that listen to this clown, and it's scary. God help them. He's helping them stay single. He's helping them stay single. Because you're insulting men with this. What, gentlemen? Any of y'all inclined to go to this church after all this, Bueller? Gentlemen, any of y'all inclined to go to this church after all this? It's going to entice women to want to go. Excuse me. It's going to entice women to go. Child, look at that. That's what's going on. I want a man like that. I want a man like that. He bought that dress for her. She looking good. He's securing his manhood. He's securing his manhood. Yes, sis, you did that. You did. Say I'm lying. You did that. Yeah, he's securing his manhood. Show your white folk, boo. Say I'm lying. Say I'm lying. And then, y'all, if you are married in this church and you got an issue where your husband says, whatever, child, pick something. She gonna be like, Pastor don't make his wife. Pastor don't need to do all that. I don't know why you're doing all that. Pastor Jamal said this. Pastor Jamal said that. And use that. Break up your whole household for a man who allegedly already cheated on his first wife and allegedly had some kids outside of his marriage or got somebody pregnant at minimum. Wow. And this is a pastor. This is a pastor. He's supposed to be of God. He's supposed to be counseling people. He's supposed to be helping people. Ain't nothing this nigga did, as far as I can see. He be insulting y'all. Remember when he said, I'm going to put this in video format because I know y'all don't read. Child, people hear what they want to hear. All good. All good. Stay the entire fuck away from me. My mantra forever. It's always been my mantra forever. Because nobody can be trusted as far as I'm concerned. I'm going to have to know you before I decide I'm going to trust you. Let me tell you. And I can see this nigga from a mile away. Ain't no way. When I already heard about who he was before I even seen who he was. Shout out to Kofi. He said, ABCD men in the church, hashtag allegedly. I saw somebody say that about him because he was, what he said to Cam Newton about his legs, which was weird. Like, I'm not trying to put ABCDism on him, but this stuff is weird, y'all. This is weird. If you didn't walk out after all this, then you co-signing it as far as I'm concerned.
Now, if you wanted a first lady that looked like Little House on the Prairie.
What is wrong with Little House on the Prairie? Shout out to Generation X. What is wrong with Little House on the Prairie, Bueller? So now we insulting our childhood and Little House on the Prairie? You mean Paul and Ma, who was married and had all them kids and they was all good regardless? Okay.
And Holly Hobby.
Holly Hobby, another Generation X reference. So we know how old this nigga is. The range of how old he is. No holy. Look at this. Look at this woman. Let me get this picture. I might need to use it. Hold on. Ghetto. I might need to use it when I clip it. Hold on. Praying for hoishness. Praise the Lord for whoredom. Coming up with a title on the spot. I was thinking, yeah, DeAndre, I was thinking that. Insulting the white people, because those are white references. Little House on the Prairie, Gen Z, in case y'all don't know. And Holly Hobby. I used to have a Holly Hobby record player. I love that thing. I played my Sesame Street records on that all damn day.
You got the wrong church. I wanted a wife.
Look at her. Look at her. That's right. That's right.
And Holly Hobby, you got the wrong church. I wanted a wife I would rush home to, that I wanted to be excited to see. When we walked in there, I said, shake it fast, watch yourself. If you don't have nobody that you excited about, trade that booger in and find you somebody that Negroes can talk about. How did you bag that?
I know how you bag that, Jamal.
That Negroes can talk about why he just insulted you a second ago. Because if you go and looking at her, it's a problem, but he wants you to talk about her. He wants you to be jealous of him. Is that biblical? Is that pastorish? Is that of the Lord? He wants y'all to be jealous. How did you bag that?
You excited about, trade that booger in and find you somebody that Negroes can talk about. How did you bag that?
I know how you bag that, Jamal. You are a Ahab to a Jezebel. You have dirt in your life, Jamal. So you're going to attract people that want to demonstrate a lifestyle that's not conducive to a woman that is reflective of what it means to be a wife to somebody that is a qualified pastor. And I'll leave it at
he is qualified for what it is that he has put out here. And if that doesn't let people know, which clearly it doesn't, who he is of and what he is about, then nothing ever will. And if his wife, allegedly, because she definitely is younger, decides to move on and leave him crying in the soup, we'll be here to talk about you then too, Jamal. Okay? Because you're full of it. Oh, this is insulting to so many people on so many different levels. It's ridiculous. Shout out to Ms. A.B. She said Michael Landon was a classic real father. Love me some Michael Landon. Rest in peace to him. Agree. That Little House on the Prairie was a great show. Little House on the Prairie was a great show. Shout out to Hiram. I appreciate you. Boo. He said, does anyone read the Bible anymore? Apparently not.
This is amazing.
Come on now. Come on now. You really think that people reading the Bible? I don't read it either. I let it play for me because it's on the phone. It's an app. You just let it play for me. Different plans that it has, depending on what you feel and what you're going through. And it'll just speak it to you and all that type of stuff. They don't even do that. Yeah. Lord, help your people. Absolutely. This is insanity. Absolutely insanity. Kofa with another 5. I appreciate you. He said, but a Muslim woman dressed modestly is abuse in so many people's eyes. I'm not even talking about going as far as the coverings, just modestly dressed. I'm not aware of that, but
This is amazing.
It wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me at all. Kofa follow up with good night, John Boy. Absolutely. I love them old shows. I probably should get on to Pluto. That's probably where they all are, to take a look at that. All good stuff. Nah, baddies. Do y'all want to look at that Natalie Nunn interview now that I just said that? She is so effing disgustingly annoying. And she was already annoying before the Cam interview. Y'all know who Natalie Nunn is? Y'all know that she was interviewed by Natalie Nunn is the creator of Baddies. And she talks like an ignorant ass. She should be going to this church. They should bring Natalie Nunn in here. And then if they started doing baddies in the church, Black people would support all of that. And it would probably be #1 rated Black show. But we're supposed to forget about the Cosby Show because of Cosby. Not me. Forget about A Different World because of Cosby. Not me. Who big is that? Natalie Nunn, Big Chin. Shout out to Nick at Night. Yeah, they did have everything on there. Exactly. But she got a husband, so I thought they was getting divorced, child, but who knows? Whatever. Anyway. Child, they like it. I love it. They like it. I love it. Shout out to Sean Kenshaw, the biblical conservative. Appreciate the work that he does. Did y'all want to look at this Atlanta YN? Somebody had mentioned it earlier. Takeover in Atlanta, and then all of a sudden they don't understand why the businesses are closing up, child. Where they do that at? Where they do that at? Cosby Show stayed on. Cosby Show stayed on. That was good though. I love that. I love those reruns. I'm watching Different World now. I'm watching A Different World now. There's another show I'm watching. I just started watching Animal Kingdom. Y'all heard of that? That show is good. I just started that one too. Yeah, I don't even watch the regular TV except for Survivor and Big Brother. That's basically it. Oh, and Abbott Elementary. Love me some Abbott Elementary. Hold on a second. Here we go. Let's look at this and then I'm done. Geno Jennings, that sounds like a pastor too, right? Isn't he a pastor or something? I believe. Let's look at this one. This is from BCP. And this says teenage mob takes over $1 billion Atlanta complex as residents fume over Publix shutting down. So while PBL did a great video, she definitely did. I feel like he brought more into it from the perspective of how many times when they say, oh my God, why are they closing now? Why are they leaving? And people try to act like they don't know. They try to, that's how we started. Y'all remember, this is how we started. Somebody was leaving the community. They was like, what happened? What happened? Oh, you don't know what happened? Let's take a look at what happened.
Right now, people in Atlanta are protesting plans to close 2 popular Publix locations, one in Chamblee and the other one on Atlantic at Atlantic Station.
They must be racist. What is it? Publix? Isn't it a grocery store? They must be racist. Shout out to Cutthroat in the building. I appreciate you. He said, now that Maduro is out of power, these illegals can go back home. They ain't going nowhere. Oh, that's celebrating. We get to go home and visit. You heard them. I don't know if you were here. They said, we get to go home and visit now. Visit. Child gone. They down there in Doral, Florida. Shout out to them. Anyway, shout out to all of y'all that are still here. I appreciate you. This is the video from BCP about what happened down in Atlantic Station. Shout out to all of y'all. I see you. I appreciate you. Hit the like button for me. Subscribe if you are new.
Alliance Galad Malama joining us live right now. So Galad, why are people so upset about this?
Neighbors tell us that they really rely on this grocery store as an easily accessible place in the community. And they say this is not about placing blame on anybody, but really they're just hoping the parties involved find a solution so that there is a grocery store there. They kind of migrated here to the 17th Street Bridge, holding their signs. They were rallying outside the Atlantic Station Publix for about an hour. Neighbors say it would be a significant hardship, particularly for people without cars or with mobility challenges once this Publix closes. And some people we spoke to actually moved here specifically because they don't have a car and they wanted to have a grocery store in walking distance. They say Publix has been a core part of the community's vision as a walkable neighborhood. And in a statement, a spokesperson for Publix tells us we've been privileged to serve the Midtown community at the Publix at Atlantic Station for almost 2 decades. As one might imagine, there are a number of factors that go into determining whether we will continue to operate a store location. While it is always a difficult decision to make,
yeah, she talking real fast, but the point is that we the hell on up out of here, child. Go talk to your mom.
Have decided.
Go talk to Pastor Jamal Bryant, see what he can do about it.
To close this store on December 27th. And Atlantic Station management tells us that this decision by Publix was sudden, but since they learned about it, they've been working to try and find another grocery store to put there. That is a priority for them in that space. And they say they are also going to try to have a shuttle service to help people more easily access grocery stores around here. This is just one of the closures for Atlantic Station in the coming weeks. DSW and Banana Republic are also set to close. We will have more on those closures tonight at 11.
I wonder why DSW and what's the other one she just said? Whatever one it was. Why are they closing? Girl, why? Looks like a beautiful community and everything is going. Now they out here protesting again. Why are you protesting when someone says that they're leaving? It's too late. It's too late. They done already made plans and made decisions. That's what proactivity is called. Nobody's ever proactive.
Boy. So we got to talk about a very interesting story out of Atlanta involving Atlantic Station and the protests that are currently going on, or that were going on, in order to save the Publix. Okay, a Publix closed in Atlanta.
I forgot, my bad, Cher. Yes, this is absolutely the ATL.
She was fucking his best friend. So, I mean, everybody's fucking down here in Atlanta. I don't know what to tell you. They breeding like rabbits down here. Everybody getting ass.
They definitely breeding something. Thank you, the Banana Republic, which I love Banana Republic. Love Banana Republic.
Station, Atlanta, and people are boohoo, whining, crying, and they're upset about Publix deciding that, hey, we don't really want to do business here. We want to leave. Now, Atlantic Station is supposed to be a walkable shopping, living center, right? We're talking about a multi-billion.
I think it used to be called a planned unit development, a PUD, a PUD, where you can live and shop. So you live up here and then you shop down here. So you never have to go anywhere. And even if you don't necessarily live above the actual stores, you're right here, it's right here. And then you can just come out and do what you have to do. And you really don't need a car. So those were all the deals, the rage, I should say, actually right before 2008. I'm assuming they picked it up because they have a lot of those in Annapolis and I would love to live there, but it's not an option. They cost a lot of money, but you don't have to go anywhere. Everything's downstairs. I'm sure you could get everything Ubered, Instacarted, and everything else. But y'all, if you ain't got no grocery store, I guess your ass got to get up and leave, and that's not what they want. So these things cost a lot of money. This costs a lot of money where these people live.
$1 billion complex in Atlanta, in the metro area. It's supposed to be a place where you shouldn't have to worry about violent crimes and agents of chaos. However, when you live in one of these little cities run by Democrats, that's always an issue, right? There's always a possibility that you can't enjoy nice things. And let's just say that a lot of people who went to Atlantic Station this past week did not enjoy the nice things because apparently there was a full-blown teen takeover that resulted in shooting that happened at this plaza. Take a look.
Y'all, tell me why they. That's it. Ow! What the fuck? Where the fuck we go? Where's we going? I'm going home. Where's we going? They still shooting? You hear?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
No, yes. Go inside somewhere. Now. They're running. Yes. They say. Stay where you're at, please.
Sasha, this is what y'all invite me to? That's not. You didn't say nothing serious. You was just laughing whenever you see the white people getting up on the table. Mimi, you like what? We're trying to eat and stuff. Jumpy. Where Chrissy? The hospital. They got what happened? Oh, stop playing.
No, they have to hide.
I've never been in this like this. I really don't know how to act. Do I get the good little video? Good little video.
I'm sure this is racist, y'all. You already know this is racist. How dare you show this? It's the white liberal media. It's their fault. Not the actual people that are doing this shit, right? It's everybody else's fault, y'all. Shout out to Kofi, I appreciate you. He said Atlantic Station is a nice area. Microsoft just built a corporate office right across the street not too long ago, but crime is down. Of course it is. And Microsoft, when they take their asses on up out of there and all them people get fired, then it will be racism from then. They'll be out there protesting instead of doing something about this shit. It's just blame everybody else. Same old crap, different place. They should just go to Jamal Bryant's church. I'm sure he has answers.
I really don't know how to act. Do I get on the ground? Good little video. Good little video.
Yeah, so you see that, you heard that. Now, let's actually learn a little bit more about the violence that happened at Atlantic Station this weekend and residents speaking out about this.
Days after a group of teens turned to gunfire on a busy night at Atlantic Station, people living in that community are speaking out about the safety of the community. Atlanta News First Report Anna Murphy is live tonight over at Atlantic Station with concerns from people. Anna?
Well, there are 6,000 residents who live here and millions more that visit each year. And we spoke with a handful of them today who are now becoming concerned for their safety. For nearly a decade, living at Atlantic Station has been a walk in the park for Francisco Cano and his dog Teddy.
I've never had any sort of issues here in the whole time that I've lived here.
But lately, he'll be the first to tell you that life in this Midtown Atlanta community hasn't been so easy.
I think it's just the challenges of living in the city. I know that definitely part of the issue, I think, is just maybe the youth not having much more else to do than just hang out at the mall.
Saturday night.
Oh, the youth don't have anything else to do but to hang out at the mall? They ain't got nothing to do. Their parents ain't watching them. Their parents ain't paying attention. You can't watch kids all the time. You're absolutely right. Make your kid get a job. Make your kid get a freaking job or sit their ass down some damn where. Now you're gonna let them go to a team takeover. What happened to being home by dark? Those rules don't happen no more. Sha.
Dozens of teenagers descended on Atlantic Station, initially shooting off fireworks and then turning to gunfire. Javon Tate captured the sound of the gunfire on video while dining at one of the restaurants. Nobody was injured, but 5 juveniles were taken into custody. Their names and charges have not been released. Satya
Yeah,
Bob.
I mean, that's part of the problem, right? Every single time these individuals are caught, these young scholars, right? These astronauts, future lawyers, doctors, AI engineers, nuclear scientists, they don't want to release the names, right? They really should release the names, the charges, and they should release the names and identities of the parents as well, too. Because, again, a lot of this is the fault of the parents allowing this type of chaos to occur.
President of the Atlantic Station Civic Association issued this statement in response to the violence. Atlantic Station has had a curfew in place for unaccompanied minors after 3 p.m. since 2022, and we appreciate APD's swift response in assisting with dispersing the crowd that began gathering around 7 p.m.
How you gathering at 7 p.m. and you ain't supposed to be there after 3 p.m.? Since 2022, so they don't know the rules yet? Okay.
Coordinated efforts helped restore order and appeared to prevent the situation from escalating into more serious violence on the property.
It's just, maybe some carelessness with some guns, and it just makes you wonder, where the parents are in all of this and whether they know that their children have all of this and just come.
So who has been talking about parents for the longest time, for about 4 going on 5 years now? Now, who has been talking about parental accountability? Oh, yeah, me. Yeah, nobody ever want to talk about that. No, you can't say anything about that. Start taking them benefits away, okay? Just start taking any benefit that they have from the government away. And then if that ain't enough, find their asses and send them asses to jail, because I believe, and y'all correct me if I'm wrong, that minors can't have weapons. Correct me if I am wrong. Minors cannot have weapons. Yay or nay? Yay or nay? Am I wrong? Yes, this comes into play.
God, where her mother at? Where this little girl mother at? Where they role models at? Where's the adults? Huh? That's the question we all trying to figure out.
Ain't nobody trying to figure out none of that.
Come to a mall to hang out and maybe just show off their guns or whatever maybe.
Oh, show off their guns.
And witnesses tell us they believe there may have been about 100 people involved in this incident on Saturday. Of course, only 5 taken into custody at this point in time. Now, I asked for an updated report from Atlanta Police today to find out more about what happened here. They told us this case remains active and ongoing. Live at Atlantic Station in Midtown Atlanta, Adam Murphy, Atlanta News First.
And the fireworks and gunfire come at a time when Atlantic Station is trying to deal with its image. The live, work, and play community just lost its flagship grocery store, Publix. It closed Saturday after 20 years. A DSW shooting.
They done already. Oh, they said we done already. Wow. Child, I guess they knew already, but they was like, child, we done. Good luck to y'all. Instacart it the fuck up.
Slated to close January 24th. It's sat right next to Publix. Also, by the end of January, Banana Republic will leave, choosing not to renew its lease.
Yeah. So you see that, you heard that. One of the things I always hate when people say when this stuff happens is that these teenagers just need something to do, right? And I'm like, I don't think that's the problem, right? When I was a teenager, when I was a quote unquote youth, right? When I was bored, I didn't go out and become an agent of chaos, right? That's not what I did. I didn't go out and start shooting people and start causing violence and destruction and doing all types of crazy stuff. In fact, my parents wouldn't let me do that, right? My parents would be very, very, very upset. They didn't even let me stay out after dark, okay? So it's one of those things where it comes down to the parents, right? And the consequences of this type of stuff is the same thing that we see over and over and over again. Businesses leave. They don't want to do business in these type of areas where you have these teenagers that are, showing up in flash mobs, causing violence and chaos, right? We've seen the same thing in Chicago, right? Where you have these teenagers take over downtown Chicago, and lo and behold, businesses, they don't want to do business there. And that is causing tax issues for the residents because nobody wants to open up a business in downtown Chicago because of stuff like this. And what you have here is Publix leaving, but at the same time, you have the residents at Atlantic Station basically pretending as if they're entitled. They're entitled to a grocery store in what is becoming a bad neighborhood. So without further ado, let's get into it.
Tonight, frustration washing over people who will lose their local grocery store in less than 2 weeks. People protested outside the Publix at Atlantic Station. That location expected to close on December 27th. Atlanta News First, Alani Latang is live in Midtown tonight after speaking with people demanding to know when they will get a new grocery store and a place to buy some fresh food. Alani?
That's right, Tracy, because it's an adjustment that people just don't want to incorporate. They say they moved here because they wanted to ditch their cars and walk for everything they need. Now they're demanding an urgency, transparency, and a long-time partnership with retail and grocery stores.
We are here today for one simple reason. Food access matters.
Atlantic Station store closures leaving residents frustrated. Atlantic Station opened in 2005 as a mixed-use live, work, play community. People who live there say they're losing some of that live and play. Atlantic Station says they're home to 6,000 residents with another 9 million visitors. Now Banana Republic, DSW Shoes, plus Publix announcing they're leaving their only walkable grocery store. Condo owners Betty and Pamela moved to Atlantic Station to ditch their cars, to walk everywhere.
But now it's like, okay, I don't drive, so I'm going to Uber to get a dozen eggs? I don't think so.
Yeah, that is what you have to do, right?
Yeah, that's exactly. Or you could Instacart it. I mean, it does cost $100 a year, but I find it worth it. But that's just me. And I can just go to the grocery store, not walk to one. I mean, if I lived upstairs, then obviously that would be good. But other than that, yeah, nah. Yeah, that's what you're going to have to do, child. Uber it. Uber as an option.
I mean, hey, it is what it is, right? Again, these people, it's so funny to me how they think they're entitled. I'm entitled to be able to walk to the grocery store. Well, the problem is that you voted for individuals who continue to allow this type of stuff, who do not punish these agents of chaos for the crimes that they commit. And because of that, they continue to commit these crimes. And because of that, these stores, these businesses saying, hey, we can't operate. We can't operate profitably in these areas, right? That's just the reality of the situation. But instead of addressing the root cause, they want to point the finger at Publix, right? Oh, Publix, you have to stay, right? If you close up, it's racism. I'll have to take an Uber to get groceries. Oh, I'll have to get a car, right? First world problem, okay? So, it's just funny to me because they never addressed the real problem. The real problem is that this community, which used to be a vibrant, walkable, safe, living community, is not that anymore. Not because Publix is closing down or these stores are leaving. It's because you allow crime and chaos to get out of control. It's not safe, okay?
We've been hearing the same excuse over and over and over again. Like, seriously, y'all. The same excuse over and over and over again. This is ridiculous.
So it's going to take some adjustments.
And then who else is going to be leaving? Right. My thing is it going to be a desert where there's no stores and we just going to be here in property values?
Imagine living in a place where I think Lawrence was saying the rent is $3,000, $2,000, $4,000 a month and you live in a food desert. Imagine that. That is crazy. Ooh, Lord help your people.
Right, no accountability.
I don't think so. So it's going to take some adjustments.
And then who else is going to be leaving? My thing is it going to be a desert where there's no stores and we just going to be here and property values going to go down?
Residents say real estate company Hines met with them on Sunday to flesh out their concerns. Residents have 3 demands. One is getting a grocery store in as soon as possible, which Atlantic Station management says is a top priority. 2 is adding grocery store stops to its already existing free shuttle. And 3 is transparency with management on future plans.
These are reasonable asks.
All that is nice, but that wouldn't be at the top of the list. It would be, what are we going to do about this crime? They said a grocery store, put grocery stores on the shuttle bus and whatever that last one was. Nothing about the crime. Oh, my bad. Crime is down. Oh, my bad. That's why. Okay. They said nothing about the crime.
They are solvable and they are best addressed together.
I have faith that something good is going to happen. It's going to happen. We're going to make it happen.
Go call Jamal Bryant. I'm sure he has answers, child. He right there.
Again, Atlantic Station closes, or excuse me, the Publix at Atlantic Station closes December 27th. There's already an online petition with more than 400 signatures calling for another grocery store to come in here. You can find that link on our website.
Why are you petitioning for another grocery store to come through? What is that going to do? Help me. What I'm missing? I'm raising my hand. What am I missing? What is petitioning a grocery store to come in going to do? Just like petitioning to get Nicki Minaj sent on up out of the United States. Child, these people be doing the dumbest of things that don't make no damn sense whatsoever.
Website at atlantanewsfirst.com. Reporting live here in Midtown, I'm Alani Latang, Atlanta News First.
Yeah, so you seen that, you heard that. Now, it just so happens that that shooting that we talked about, the Agents of Chaos, that happened basically on the same day that the Publix shut down, which basically vindicated Publix, right? In regards to them.
So that happened on the 27th, that Saturday. What's that? Last weekend. Last weekend. So y'all just got all your Christmas presents. Y'all just celebrated the Lord's birthday and all that. And then you just went out that night or whatever night that was, 2 days after Christmas, to go show off your weapons, according to that one reporter, child. Child, you can't make it up. You cannot make it up. What are we going to do? We're going to start a petition. Well, child, let us know how that works. I don't think it's going to work, but child, what do I know? Anyway. All right, y'all, that's all I got for you. It's almost 3 hours. Joe Biden, or not Joe Biden, Trump is now president of Venezuela, basically. I just saw a couple of posts on Facebook where people are over there wilding out.
This is amazing.
I'm not saying that they shouldn't be, but it's like, y'all, if you don't figure out what you're going to do for you, ain't nobody else going to do it. Thank you so much, Boo. He said, if that big ass Target closes there, it's, oh no. They're not supposed to be going to Target anyway. What are you talking about? Target is the one that should have been going out of business. Target is the one that should have been going out of business. What is going on down there? That is the epicenter of where everything started with Jamal Bryant and his naked ass wife. So you're trying to tell me the actual store where everybody was supposed to be shopping for a year now is still in business, but Publix is gone, DSW, and Banana Republic. Ciao. Something interesting, right? I guess nobody was actually really not shopping at Target. Anyway, I am done with this. I see y'all. I appreciate y'all. Thank you so much. Thank you for your support. Thank you for Legend for being a stream sponsor today. Please make sure you hit the like button, subscribe if you are new. I don't know if I'll be back today, but tomorrow for sure. It's 2 p.m. EST. I got ish to do. Y'all enjoy Saturday. Stay out of trouble if you're down there in Atlanta. I appreciate y'all. I see you all in the next one.